mute my I have to mute the YouTube as soon as it pops up. I can't even figure it out. Oh, hey, we're live.
Yeah, we're back to this again. Didn't we screw this up yesterday?
We're so good at this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. It's me and Eric, the Nameless Picker here, just literally hanging out doing nothing tonight. So we figured we would go live. I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea. I'm sitting here drinking a little, what am I drinking? Cabernet Sauvignon, and Eric's got a nice coffee.
Nice cup of decaf, because I can actually get some sleep tonight. No, like I said, I mean, we've talked about it in a bunch of our videos about how we're trying some different formats and things like that. We're going to try something a little different tonight. We both made what are sold videos in the past, but we're going to try and do like kind of like a live what I sold and see how that works for everybody. Hey, Don, Swamp Picker. Kenneth Green was first. We got to give him props. But yeah, we just kind of want we that's what was taking us so long is we were trying to set our screens up to do the screen sharing so that we can show information without showing obviously our customers' information. But and then we're going to talk about kind of what we sold and where we got it from. And Jason, we've been doing a lot of haul videos and kind of wanted to touch on the results of some of those haul videos. And then I did a little pickup. We did a video yesterday showing my ephemera thing, but then I had another auction pickup today that I drove 3-hour round tripper to pick up. So I just wanted to show a little bit of that stuff. So, but it's kind of going to be interesting, and let us know if you like it or not, because I mean, God only knows. So,
yeah, this should be interesting and hopefully different. I don't know. Maybe someone's done this before. I don't know. I just came up with it on a whim.
I mean, it's not much different than. Because like when I do my what I sold videos, I don't show everything. I pick out what I think is kind of interesting and cool. But I sell stuff all day long, and I don't know if everybody would be that interested in everything. But now I'm just gonna kind of run down a list of my sold stuff, and I'll pop it up, and you'll see my sold stuff. And we can, if you have any questions about it or where I got it from or anything, we'll touch on it. But you want to go ahead and share your screen, Jason? We'll start with you, since you had the most recent haul videos you sold stuff from.
Well, not yet. Let's ease into it, Eric.
Ease into it.
This is something new. I don't want to rush.
Yes, we both have hats on because we were afraid the glare off my head was going to blind everybody, and then Jason just didn't want to stick out.
I just wanted to look sexy.
You got to go. What was that? What's the hat called? A Kangol?
Kangol, yes.
His old school, he's schooling me on Coolio's wear from the 90s.
First off, not Coolio, okay?
I'm sorry.
Not Coolio.
I'm obviously not down with that. So
that's cool money from Mars. Yeah, keep working. Believe me, everybody keep working if you can.
More money. Who wore the hat again?
What? I'm sorry.
LL Cool J. I'm sorry, LL Cool J.
Oh yeah, a lot of different Run DMC. The whole spectrum.
Yeah, the page picker hat. I'd break out some LL Cool J or Run DMC. Jason's got an entire shelf full of old school rap records that he needs to sell one of these days. So
one of these days, there's no rush.
Only about 1,400 of them. I mean,
no, I think it was like 1,000, but either way.
Promos and things like that, they're probably worth $8-10 a piece, but
yeah, that's on the save for a rainy day
retirement time, I think. Maybe Ain't a crazy card.
Wow, look at everybody jumping in.
Yeah, we haven't done a late night hangout in forever.
I know, it's almost like feels out of place, kind of like I need to that's why I said we need to ease into it a little.
The puppy's asleep. My kid's asleep. I mean, it's kind of a nice, quiet night.
I know. I think the only drawback is you might hear my dog snoring. He's usually pretty loud. He's right at my feet here.
Yeah, he'll start snoring too. But it's been just kind of been a slow day. I mean, I got done with my shipping, and I didn't get anything listed because as soon as I got done with shipping, I had yard work I had to do, and got that done. And I had to run out to that pickup, and I literally had to drive to north of Dayton, which is for me, it was an hour and a half there pick up some stuff. Now I'd bid on a lot of things in the auction, but it got to a point where I was like, I'm just going to leave it alone. And if I get outbid, I get outbid. And I ended up winning 4 lots, so I spent $37. But I mean, they're going to end up being some pretty good stuff. Actually, I'm going to make a lot of money off of it. But the other stuff was really cool. One of the things I was bidding on was a propeller company's. They made a fan to promote their propellers for World War II. And it was really neat, but it went for almost $300. I mean, that's the type of stuff I was bidding on because I just thought it was neat. I would have trouble selling that, but hey, there's Patdeez72. Hey, Pat.
Pat D in the house.
Yeah, we were actually talking about you today, Pat, because Jason you were talking about his last video where he was doing the appear in through OBS, and I mean, it said it looked really good. So I mean, that's something that we're kind of playing with ourselves. But right now,
that was Craig Murray's.
Oh, was it Craig? Well,
yeah,
Pat,
you weren't around, but I quote it.
Okay. Where's his wrench? You don't get your treat.
Dude, I don't even know how to do that.
Okay, it's easy to do when you're in the Hangout. Just click on those 3 buttons out by his name, and it'll actually make him a moderator.
I see put in timeout.
All the way at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Here we go. I guess I could do that for a bunch of people that I don't know.
I don't know. I don't. There's too many videos that I watch out there nowadays. It looks like it's a audience of moderators.
Okay, all right.
There it is.
So that I don't get yelled at. Well, I don't know. There's so many good people here in the audience that, I probably just give out all wrenches, to be honest with you. It would look silly.
Jason's very trusting.
I am.
But anyway, well, okay, Craig's video, but you said Pat was on it, right?
Oh yeah, they were all floating around.
Anyway, we were looking at that, so I guess we probably got to talk to Craig and see how he does it, because I was looking at it and playing with it, and I think I have it figured out, but I don't really know. And
what did he say? EBI or something?
OBS.
OBS. Oh, okay. I knew it was some sort of.
Yeah, and Scott actually, the bearded picker, I talked to him about it once before, and he was playing with that as well, and he does a lot of his recording and editing and stuff in that software. Hey, Pat's asking if we're looking for a company. You want to send him the link?
I don't. Because Pat has a tendency to dominate the entire panel, apparently.
Oh, you think?
No, I'm only kidding. Pat's funny as hell. The only reason I'm going to say no is because we were talking about it a minute ago. We're about to do this new format that we're playing with, and we're actually just going to be screen sharing almost everything. So you're not really going to be seeing one. So I don't know if you want to be like, I guess, talking without a picture. I mean, is that cool, Pat?
Send him the link. I mean, because we're gonna freeze the screen on the screen shares anyway, so it's not a big deal.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead and send him the link. Hang on, Pat. Jason will send you a link.
This will take me 10 minutes to figure out.
That's true.
I'm the most computer literate person, but can't do software to save my life.
Hi, mother's mustache. She needs a bedtime
Oh,
story.
MM. Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, this is a neat little chair.
And how long did it take before you break it?
Yeah, I broke it literally within the first month. The whole right arm is missing. So much for getting expensive chair, figuring it would be better. Copy. Do I need to go to? Pat, I guess I'll send you a link through Facebook.
Yeah, that's the easiest way.
Yeah. Of course, I have it defaulted on Marketplace. Hold on.
See, there we go. There you just let slip a tip of the one of your trade secrets there, that you have your Facebook set to open up to Marketplace.
I tell everybody everything. It doesn't. There's no secret sauce. Let's see. I still got to figure out how to home. No, me. Bear with me, everybody. Sorry.
It's worse when he screen shares because we're screaming at him to go over here, no, go over here, and we're pointing at our own screens like he can actually see what's going on. I mean, it drives us nuts when he trying to walk Jason through software is just terrible.
I'm still trying to figure out how to send Pat a message through Facebook. This is so sad.
You go to your
I rarely use Facebook.
His name.
Yeah. Oh, message. Here we go. This is sad. Everybody's gonna look back and laugh at this.
Although, Pat, you got to have a hat.
Oh, yeah. Don't enter without a hat, Pat. You know what? Hold on. I will add just a couple of moderators just in case there's some crazy troll-ish thing going on.
I doubt that. We've only got, between the two of us, we've got like 400. There's the... There we go. We got the hat on.
Oh, he's got a flashy new background too. Look at that.
Between the two of us, we've got like 400. There's the YouTube. There we go. Got the hat on.
Oh, he's got a flashy new background. All right, amateur hour. I do it all the time. How's it going, Pat?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Good, buddy.
I won't come in here and clown you guys tonight.
Oh, we don't care.
Oh no, I don't care about the clowning. Believe me, no, I'm all joking around. It's just
it's funny because when you see me on Scott's show, sometimes I don't talk for 20 minutes, just because it's Scott's show. But when we're goofing around sometimes at night, kidding around, because some people just do hangouts and they don't even talk nothing with reselling, or they're just there to just the BS. So. You get caught up in it, but I wanted to join just because, to be honest, I was impressed with you, Jason, last weekend, and the stuff that and you were talking about Eric. I just got done watching the Bearded Pickers, and he was talking about Eric in there, and I mean that was a great place. I wish that place was closer. It was still open.
I've been going to that place for years. Love it. The guy is tough on pricing, but I've just been a customer for so long. He takes care of me. Once you start spending a lot of money with someone, they take care of you.
Right.
That's kind of how it worked. Because I remember you tried to negotiate those manuals down.
Yeah.
That's part of that's what happens. I don't want anyone ever to feel like you're not giving them a fair shake, but at the same time, certain manuals, like I showed him, they were going for $5-6 on eBay shipped, and he wanted $10 a piece, and there was just no, and that's fine. You move on to something else that you can make money with. I spent $45 at the store, and I'll pretty much get all my money back just from the beta tapes that I bought. I got a 6 or 8 pack of new beta tapes. He wanted $4 a piece. I got him for $1.50. So there were some things he was willing. I think as we talked in the parking lot, he just had a lot of sentimental value, not wanting to let go, and he's an older gentleman, and being business that long, it's hard because, he in a sense, he's going out of business. He doesn't know what his next step is.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely an interesting guy. I mean, I've negotiated with him 3 or 4 times now, and it's definitely tough. And his daughter's really cool to work with, but she defers to him when it comes to pricing and everything. And it was definitely fun, but like I said, it was just a long time on the one deal. So.
Yeah, well, he's the boss. You could tell when we were there. I mean, his daughter was. Even if you had to ask, then I heard him say, "Well, what do you think?" And then, because I was looking at these patterns, and I looked them up on eBay, and they go for like $3 to $7. Sometimes people are into vintage sewing and stuff, and I said, if I can get that whole pile for like $20, I can, turn it into $80. So I said, come here, I want to ask you something, and I said, would you take 20? I said, sight unseen. I don't know. She started counting. I think she stopped at around 50 of them. And she's like, I don't know. And then she says, how about 25 then? And I said, sure. I said, that's fair.
Yeah.
You don't look, I get it, because you don't want to insult anybody, and they're there to make money. They were paying teenagers to pack stuff up and throw them in trailers and stuff like that. But, that's what's great about the community. And I've seen you guys on shows before, but you guys aren't big into pushing your YouTube channels. You guys are more about business and making money and stuff like that. And, in all seriousness, that's what I need to get on I like the fun fact of YouTube and connecting, but at the end of the day, YouTube doesn't pay the bills and take care of my family.
Yeah, I mean, very few people make enough money on YouTube to pay the bills. I mean, you make some money. I mean, we're not even monetized, so that's not even for us. But
right,
you know, we don't make enough on YouTube. You know, so most people make a couple $100. I mean, they make enough to basically keep your equipment up to date. I mean, you can buy
right,
a microphone,
or even pay your eBay store fees or your your Amazon fees if you're selling on Amazon and stuff like that. And I enjoy the company. I try to watch. I mean, to be honest, I don't want to get on a show that's a little bit out. I don't like to talk politics too much because, I got my family to take care of, and I love everybody. There's no room in my heart for hate for anybody. So
you need to go back and watch our election coverage show.
Yeah, I probably won't do that.
Oh, it was what, it was about 8-hour show, and it was we actually titled the election show "The Worst Election Coverage You Could Possibly Imagine."
Was it you and Jason?
No,
that was me, Jason.
No, I wasn't invited.
You were on that?
I remember that you guys didn't want to invite me.
Oh, I thought you were on there.
Nope.
I was me and Dusty and Jim, and there was 3 or 4 other people on there. I thought
Joe Panico was in there. I forget who else.
I don't know. That's a while ago. So that was that was obviously 2016. So
I mean,
yeah. I mean,
we walked around the flea market, and again, we were there to have. I never once asked Scott what he bought on his retail arbitrage trip. I didn't care. I was there to kind of have fun and meet the guys, and when we went to the surplus store, and I had said, I don't know if he remembers. I made the comment that there was enough stuff in that store. We could have sold stuff for 3 years at least. And that's the fun, the treasure hunt, and meeting people like Jason again that know stuff that I don't know. I mean, there's things I'm sure I know, I follow, and baseball cards and that I've sold before, and collectibles and sports memorabilia. But it's funny because my son now, he watched the video, Jason, and
is that your son right now, Big Red? Is that him?
Yeah, that's my son. That's
hey,
John. He got called. He's like 6 foot tall, 330 with red hair, and they called him at the Y when he went there after school. And he went and met somebody, and I said, "You don't meet nobody by yourself. You bring Dad with you." And we met a little bit of a shady character in Scranton, and he bought a $40 computer. He's parting it out, and he already sold tonight. He just put it up 10 minutes ago. He already sold a processor for $32.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I had a really not a bad pick. I mean, it was a good pickup, but it was in Camden, New Jersey, and I was there. I bought the whole basement, and I was there for hours loading a truck, and it got dark, and that place was just totally different at night.
Well, I don't know. I think the pickup you just went on real recently was rather interesting with the when the guy meets you at the driveway with an assault rifle.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that one. Yeah. So I entered this Facebook marketplace ad, and it was all that. If you go back to videos, you'll see I bought all the TI-99 4A computer stuff. I pull up. It's in like the middle of it's up actually near Pat, I guess, up that way, Pocono, little to the left of Poconos. And, it's very rural and stuff. And I pull up to this 1800s farmhouse, and the guy's waiting for me outside with his son. And yeah, he's holding a AK-47 or some type of assault rifle. and I'm like, and he's wearing a America hat of some sort. So I pull up,
and the guy said, he sent you a message to make sure you be careful of the bears and something else. I mean, it was coyotes. The coyotes and bears are running around pretty well. So
I was like, Eric, I look like a big pork chop, man. I'm taking a chance here.
Now, Eric, what do you got? A pile of records there that you're putting up for sale?
No, these are. I bought these. I did a video. This is what I did the video on yesterday. These are all programs.
Oh, cool. Roy Rogers. I remember. Yeah. See, that's stuff I like also.
Yeah, I'm a big ephemera guy. I mean, I used to be just strictly antiques and collectibles, and then I realized that as I get older, I mean, I'm not going to be able to go and pull some of this stuff out of basements anymore. And I'm like, I need something that I can list that's easy ship, it doesn't have to be worth a lot of money, but it's if you get a lot of it. I mean, this is just one little stack. I've got about 400 pieces. I paid $40 for, and one piece out of here, there's one piece in here that's going to pay for the entire lot. And so that's the type of stuff I like with the Stay Flat mailers and everything. But I bought some other stuff. The other stuff I picked up today is more along, that collectible antique type stuff. So
now, Eric, where are you? Are you from Ohio?
Yeah, I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why I thought they said, because Jason was telling me that you came in from there, and I figured you had to be close.
It's about 8 hours to Jason's house from mine, so which isn't too bad.
Just a walk in the park.
Now, are you guys going to get more on YouTube? And
we're working on it. We're trying. Again, it's the hardest part for us is it kind of gets in the way of the business sometimes.
Yeah, it does. In all honesty, I spend probably 2 to 3 hours a day involved in it. Just between editing and making videos and trying to stay ahead of it. I think for me, even at first I wasn't going to go on. The clowning around a little bit kind of relaxed me, because if you're too stiff, then you're like, oh my god, and
Pat, you're not too stiff. I've seen you on many shows.
Yeah, no. But in the beginning, I was. If you watch the first 10 videos, I didn't even show my face.
Well, it's like Scott's morning show. Me and him actually started that morning show together.
Yeah, he
mentioned I did that for. I did it all the way up until September, and then my son started high school, and the scheduling just didn't work out for me because I was getting up at 5:30. By the time 8 o'clock my time rolls around, I'm just flat out dead tired. I was falling asleep during the shows, and at that point, Scott was going a lot more Amazon, which I don't do Amazon.
Yeah.
So he went, and I'm like, hey, just take it, roll with the Amazon side of it, and because he had guys like Steve on there and John and all that. I'm like, you don't really need me on here at this point, but I've been doing shows for YouTube stuff, because I did the Chick Picker show for we did the shows in the morning. I'm almost a year doing
250 episodes.
Yeah. How I found Scott googling eBay reselling and breast. I'm a breast cancer survivor.
Yeah.
And the second show I got on, they did a special for Joni, and that's how we connected. I shared my story, and it was hard though to begin in, because you're getting in front of 300 or 400 people on Scott's show, and to have confidence to talk, and then share your story, and then to see if anybody kind of cares about it, and because let's be honest, a lot of this stuff that is already being done. People have to have faith in the people that they're watching and like them. They have to have a likability. I think that's where Jason, when we met with Taco Stacks this weekend, he's a nice guy, and I think that's why he does very well with his channel, and
Yep. No, definitely.
Banana, did you how many subscribers did you grow since the last couple?
You
don't pay attention, or?
No, I do, but I don't know exactly. I mean, maybe somewhere between 60 and 80, I think.
Yeah, I thought so, because I put you in 2 or 3 videos, and then with the thumb with Taco, and then Scott had you in, and that's why that's why even I think any channel shouldn't be just about you get people involved. That's the fun part, and creating this kind of crew that kind of can bounce ideas off. You have fun, but then at the end of the day, okay, how are you making money? What are you doing?
What you were saying before, it's so funny, because even though I've been on YouTube doing videos on other channels for quite a while, it's like I still am nervous a lot.
Yeah.
And it shows. Especially
I'm not nervous at all.
Yeah, no, Eric just flows. I'm not so comfortable in front of the camera because I've never been good at public speaking.
Well, that was one of the when Jason and I, we discussed it really at the end of last year. We were like, we've been doing YouTube for a long time, and we never grew our own channels. We were always on everybody else's channels, and so we said, it's kind of time to decide to go ahead and just let's start making a channel and start doing our own things on our own stuff. And yeah, but we kind of suck at it because we put out a video maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, because again, we're just so busy doing what we normally do. It's not a priority for us. I don't know, if we grow enough and we get get large enough and get monetized, maybe we put a little bit more effort into it. But right now I'm very comfortable with once a week or so.
Yeah, I do Scott's show Tuesday and Thursday morning, and then with Kimberly Borderline Hoardish and another young lady, Destiny, at Shamrock Pixie, we do a Sunday show, but now we're switching it to Thursday.
Yeah, I saw your last one. I saw where you guys were switching it over. So
right, actually, if you guys pray for Destiny, she had a ruptured spleen and she had to go in for emergency surgery about 3 hours ago. So,
oh geez, that's terrible.
Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest. Some of these shows that you go on, that's probably good in the future. I could see not going on as many because I am too busy. I mean, part of what I want to do is eventually go out on the road, sort of like American Pickers and Thrift, and do things, but then stop and meet people like Eric, like Jason. When Scott, I had said to Scott before, he had been through like 2 months ago, and he was just too busy. And I told him straight out, look, don't feel you have to stop and entertain me. And he didn't really know me yet that much, but
he does it to me all the time. And I've been on vacation with Scott, so he does it to me all the time. He'll swing here in the Columbus because Columbus is kind of a mecca for thrift stores and things like that.
Yeah,
and good stores. And he'll come in here and he'll get here at 11 o'clock at night and be out at 5 o'clock in the morning. And on the road, I'm like, dude, if the time schedules don't match up, don't worry about it.
That's what I told him.
So
he actually had messaged me about 2 months ago that he was in Harrisburg. He goes, "Where you at?" And then I said, it's 3 hours away. And I was like, that ain't gonna work, because I knew he was gonna get up and have to get on the road and stuff. And but I just appreciated the opportunity, and he's been great to me. I don't live far from Taco, actually, and I've gotten to be friendly with him, and he's been great towards me. And so I kind of want to make my channel that I'm a little bit of the traveling thrift guy that does interviews and has a little fun. And
I mean, as long as to me, as long as you're providing good content, it doesn't really matter what type it is, as long as it's just good content. I mean, we always laugh about we show things that most people don't show because we do it for a living. I mean, we both, this is how we make our income. We don't have any other income coming in besides this.
Right.
And, so that's why when we show stuff, it's honestly where it's at. And we get a lot of people saying, we appreciate what you show us, because nobody else talks about stuff like that. Everybody else talks about Nike shoes or polo shirts or Polaroid cameras, the things that everybody already knows about.
Well, even Jason was nice enough to say to me, and haven't really only met him this weekend and a little bit in the chat. He's like, "Hey Pat, come down to my warehouse," and he goes, "I can help you do better on eBay." Now, I've been on eBay since 1998, but it's always been part-time. I ran restaurants for 18 years, and then when I got cancer and things happened, I'm out of the restaurant business. But I do a variety of things to make money, and but eBay and Amazon are really, I never sold Amazon until I got talking to Scott. The problem with me with Amazon is I'm not allowed to sell a lot of things that people are, because I'm so new yet.
I have an Amazon account. It's I don't know. I guess at this point it's probably 2, maybe 3 years old, but I never built it. I sold on Amazon for 6-8 months, and I just realized it's not really my thing.
Jason, I see that you say that you watch Crazy Lamp Lady. Now, she was featured somewhere, and she's had explosive growth on her YouTube. But she did a catchy. She changed her music and did a catchy jingle with it, and she has this likability about her, and I think that's why she keeps growing too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I only tuned into her, just maybe a few weeks ago. I was like just kind of randomly browsing, like, who can I watch now? I had like some time, and like I found her. I was like, oh, let's try this one. And I'm like, that's how I find a lot of people on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I've watched maybe 6 episodes so far, and then then I'll switch to someone else, and then after a while I'll switch. But I like to watch stuff, like, especially if you noticed, I'm in some of the late night hangouts when you guys are live. I'm sitting here at my desk working most of the time doing listings, and I'm kind of just casually looking at the chat once in a while.
Yeah, that's what I was actually doing tonight, listening to Chris from Liquidation OH. What I like to do, and this is why I haven't watched many of Crazy Lamp Lady's episodes, because, to be honest, we're all too busy. But from a perspective of having a YouTube channel, just to see how she's kind of doing things, and you learn about storytelling. When we were at the the flea market, if you're making a 12-15 minute video, if you're showing the star, let's say Scott and Taco Stacks in the first 2 minutes, you're going to lose the audience. They're okay, I've seen them, goodbye. So you kind of got to build it up and wait for it and have it towards the end so they stay around longer.
Yeah, no, definitely. Everyone has their own little bit of style, so you can in a way you kind of pick up on different techniques from various people and kind of mesh it into your own kind of thing, sort of. It's
Right.
kind of like human nature, really.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to say Pat is like the ultimate stealth buyer. We're in that warehouse. He bought all those patterns, got him into his car. I didn't even know he bought anything until I had to see the video, okay? He like secured that stuff in his car, didn't show anyone.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I thought it was interesting, to be honest, when I watched Scott's tonight. We all found something separate. There was something for each of us.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean that guy's definitely got a variety of stuff in his warehouse. If you walk in there and you couldn't find something you wanted to flip, you're looking at the wrong stuff, because that guy had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I asked him, but he didn't have them. I was looking for the about a month ago, a guy had an ad on Facebook. He had a pencil sharpener, some number 2 pencils, and erasers. And he said, vintage school supplies, $20. So I said to him, well, how many sharpeners? And he said, 1. Mostly it's pencils. I said, all right. Where do you want to meet? And he said, Rite Aid. I said, well, would you take 15? He goes, yeah, I'll take 15. So I met him at a Rite Aid in about close to where my wife works. And he told me he gets a lot of stuff from storage auctions. And I listed there was a brand new old-fashioned pencil sharpener, like in school. It said the School of Philadelphia, brand new in the box. I listed it for $29.95. I sold it in a day.
Yeah,
I mean, that's nice when you can find. Even I had done a video, kind of not poking fun, but kind of teasing a little bit about doing Lowe's. And the point is, there are a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, what you get? A lot of times in our area, they don't have those certain things. But what he's trying to teach you is to go in and look for things to find. So I was in the area doing my Instacart delivery, and I stopped in Lowe's, and I had found some stuff that customers ordered, but they never picked up. So they had on the shelf, and I bought a $5 microwave adapter kit that you put on the, and I just sold it yesterday for $28.72.
Yeah, little tip for if you're going to shop Lowe's, you look for the SOS stickers. Those are special order stickers. If those are sitting on the shelves, that represents a complete loss to Lowe's. That's a customer that ordered that and then canceled that order, but it's a special order. They cannot send it back. Lowe's takes a complete hit on that. So they will take whatever they can get out of that, they can. So that's something that they have complete authority to negotiate on. So if you see something you like up there, you can make really good deals. So especially if you're just shopping for yourself, if you're shopping for appliances or anything like that, if you see special order on it and it's got a return sticker on it and it'll say special order return, you can make deals on that type of stuff.
Okay.
Because they get hit on their audits if they have that stuff laying around, so they want to move it as fast as possible.
I had bought a chimney kit too. That I looked it up. It was going for $125. I got it for $30.
Yeah, I worked for Lowe's for 7 years.
Say that again.
I worked for Lowe's for 7 years. I worked in the loss prevention department for Lowe's for 7 years. I'm pretty familiar with their systems. So
he's in the Poconos doing. Hey Tara or Jim. It's probably Tara. Jim's
Jim's probably asleep.
Hey, Jason, when I saw that you were live tonight and I tuned in, I said, he looks like LL Cool J.
Yeah, but you're the one that all the ladies love.
Yeah, well.
I see you the other night. Everyone loves you, Pat.
Well, just be good to people and have a sense of humor and be respectful. That's how I want to come across. I got a little taken off, to be honest, when I was in Craig's room last night. I got a little taken back because there was a troll. And I was like, okay. And they were blocking him. So I got out because what Craig was doing, it only allowed 4 people at a time. So I gave Craig the idea. Actually, I said, Craig, let people rotate in and out. If you want to do a show longer and get watch time, I said that would be better than somebody doesn't get bored with the same thing, listening to the same people talk for 2 hours. So that's what we did. And someone messaged me. The person told me who they were. They were just busting chops. They have another account. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, at least thanks for telling me who you are. And then he felt bad and he gave some super chats.
I love people that have the troll accounts. I can't keep my passwords straight on all my other stuff. I can't create 3 or 4 accounts to go troll people with. I'm sorry, that's too complicated for me. I don't have time for that. I mean, I don't understand people who do, but
I don't have the time for that sort of thing. Yeah. I'm lucky I could do this sometimes.
Well, this is kind of what, why we decided, hey, I wonder if we should do something really late at night, because in the middle of the day, sometimes we'll make a video or do a show or something like that, but it's only because we're showing stuff that we just recently picked up. But we just want to kind of sit out and just kind of hang around. I think we're going to do these more late at night type stuff.
Yeah, I love the late nights better, because, to be honest, my brain is more sharp. I'm more awake. I'm not too much of a morning person. I told Scott I felt bad because there was probably 2 or 3 times I was just too tired and couldn't do the show because of the pills that I take, and I only had 3 or 4 hours of sleep. And he's like, oh, that's okay, and.
All right, Jason, that's enough wrench.
I know. I totally went wrench happy. I was like, no, I'm not gonna.
You showed me the button.
As I drank more wine, I started. Oh well.
Everybody back into the scotch I have sitting over there if I need to. So
yeah, I'm very laid back, so don't kick anyone instantly unless they're being a real pain. That's all. Don't be super strict.
Yeah, unless they're get bombed with a bunch of the Russian ones that come in and hit it every now and then. Most people are pretty cool. So
I think I've only kicked out maybe 1 or 2 people, and that's, to just be honest, because they're swearing or they're actually are trolls and they're giving the host a hard time. And there's no need for that. Why would you waste your time sitting here listening to somebody and then have to make comments? Move on. There's a lot of other channels to listen to. They don't realize that most of the people that are doing this have established friendships and are there's a common bond here, that we're talking about and stuff like that. Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Chris is here, and he's on the opposite side of the city for me. So he's my direct competitor.
He was on today. I remember for a little bit.
He was on twice. He did his show, and then he was on Dan's Liquidation Pros. I actually had Chris as a guest on my show on Sunday, and it's the second most viewed watch time minutes that on my channel. So he was a great guest.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I was talking about the flipping particles. I don't know her name. I caught it today for the first time.
I think it's D. Is it D?
I don't know. Well,
I think it is D. Yeah, Chris, they told me before I came on. Well, first they said no, I couldn't come on because I was a clown. I'm like, is that good or bad? And I said, okay, come on, but you got to wear a hat. Luckily, I had a hat right over here to the side because I'm not usually a hat guy. My head's too damn big to be wearing a hat sometimes. Yeah, it is DC. I pay attention because some of the people that I follow, and I try to support and watch some of the people that like me and I like them.
Yeah, I was just taking a coffee break and I remember Craig saying last night that he was going to be on, so I saw her thing popped up, so I checked it out for a few minutes.
I did a show with Craig. We did trading cards. Can you make money still buying and selling trading cards?
No.
You're saying no?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay.
It's not my thing.
Yeah, of course you can, because but it's hard. It's hard work. It's not easy like everybody thinks it should be. It's actually pretty hard. Because I mean, I don't like to get into anything that deals with grading, and cards and comics and things like that. It's all about the grade, and I don't like to do records. The same thing. I don't like to do that type of stuff.
Right.
So to me, that's more work than I really want to put into. Now, I'll buy that stuff if it's already graded.
Oh yeah,
then it's easy, because then it's like, okay, I can just look up the grade and get a price.
Yeah,
for it. Exactly
true collectors who really want to collect are only buying great. I collect, like my favorite player is Mike Schmidt for the Philadelphia Phillies. And I got a chance to meet him about 3 or 4 years ago. As a kid, I wrote to him, and he sent me a letter back with an autographed card. And I just always, and I stay loyal. I follow the Philadelphia teams.
See, Mike Schmidt was one of my hated rivals because I was a Cincinnati Reds guy. I was a big Red Machine, and Mike Schmidt was always, and then when Pete left, and it just kind of
Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Right. I met him too. Mohican Sun up in our area in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. They bring sometimes sports stars in just to kind of draw people in to play the casino, and
Hey, Pat, I was just thinking about it with cards. I have a relative that has maybe somewhere between 10 and 20 boxes of hockey cards. Maybe from the 90s or so.
Hockey cards from the 60s are super valuable.
Yeah, but
super valuable.
If you want them, I can get them for the whole cost of $0. He's been trying to give them to me forever, and I'm just like, no.
Sure. We'll figure it out. When I like to way before the summer's over, because I honestly want to come down and take you up on the invite as far as the warehouse, and if you don't mind me you didn't care that I filmed when we were out this weekend, and learn from you. In all seriousness, this is, YouTube is fun, but again, I gotta make money here and do this right and take care of my family, because I probably will never have a traditional 9-to-5 job, as I put too much time in the last 18 years doing 7 days, and there's not many people that want to hire a 47-year-old guy that was self-employed so long.
I hear
we
you.
were discussing that earlier this week, that we are pretty much decided that we are unemployable at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, I've basically been told it by companies.
Yeah, my actual last job where I had a boss was, I think, around 2001, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't go work for somebody else anymore. I don't have that patience level. I know I would snap, and not me. So maybe I could probably do something part-time, because I wouldn't care about it. That's part of the problem, is I wouldn't care about the job, because I know I can make a living doing what I do now, and I wouldn't even care about it. So, why would I do that if I'm not going to care about it?
Yeah. I just want I'll be honest. To me, it's not about making a lot of money. It's about freedom. You sacrifice a lot when you have and Scott talks about this a lot in the restaurant business, working 7 days a week and stuff. And, I want to be able, like my youngest son is graduating, and we don't need a lot of money to live on. But, if you want to do things, obviously you need money, but I want time and because life is short, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yep. You never know. We're all getting pretty older. I think all of us on the panel are at least mid-40s or better, right?
Hey,
nice.
Chris, when I get those cards from you, from Jason, I'll contact you and I'll show you some of them. And if you're a sports star, and we'll work. So I'll even give you some, because Jason's gonna get them for me. And if you want a couple, let me know.
Yeah, in fact, when you're there, Pat, you can probably have your pick at whatever I don't want, which is a lot. I'm about to make a Goodwill run soon, so maybe you should come down sooner than later.
Yeah,
Jason's Goodwill runs are actually really good stuff. He just doesn't want to list it.
Yeah, because I'm setting my certain niches and stuff, and I buy storage units occasionally, and I get all this stuff that I really just have no interest in selling.
Well, that's the thing. Even in the future, what I'm going to do is not do the flea market every weekend, but there's obviously stuff. I don't want to do a yard sale, because I don't like people coming to my house, because this is where you live. Yeah. Don't come back. I like my privacy at my house. Too many people know me locally.
I see. I do an online auction out of my garage once a month.
Yeah, so. I had a lot of employees, a lot of customers, and I just always liked my privacy at home. But I used to do yard sales out front of the restaurant on holiday weekends. I used to do pretty good. So what I'm thinking is, going forward in the future, as I get some storage units, stuff that doesn't make sense to sell on, I'll do the flea. Well, that's one thing. Like Taco, he was selling stuff $2, $1, and he's doing damn good.
Oh man, I get so much of that stuff, Pat, because I'm not a people person. I'm an introvert, so I don't really do flea markets and all that stuff that I get that I don't want to ship, or I just right over to Goodwill. I mean, I'm dropping off like brand new Foreman grills. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, no, I like this is why I like YouTube, and I like the people aspect of it, because when you are in the hospitality retail business, that's one thing I do miss. Because this, people talk about all the times, this is a little bit of a lonely world. I mean, when we were this weekend, I was kidding around talking to people, and I talked to everybody, and even Taco was busting my chops because, he's like, because he knows me, you know what I mean? And he knows that I could take it and I'm going to banter back with him. And to me, that's even the fun part of it.
Oh, sure. Definitely. Definitely. I've been known to bust chops a bit from time to time.
Did you see that someone had comment, what is Jason carrying a purse? And I said, no, that was his body bag.
Yeah, man.
Those are his special custom made.
That means I'm loaded for Big Bear.
That's right.
I had those custom made. I had a friend that sold clothing, children's clothing to Target. And he got the stuff in China. He's hooked up at a factory, and I had them make like 10 of those bags for me. They can hold like 100 pounds easy, and they open up to like bigger than those IKEA bags. But yet it starts out, it's folded up and compact, so I can carry like 2 or 3 of them walking into an estate sale and then just go blazing.
Yeah, I'm going to an estate sale this weekend. They're having for Memorial Day multi-family complete home clean out. So I'm gonna take the camera there and record and see what I can get. Sometimes people are willing just to kind of give stuff away. And I was funny because Scott was busting my chops because I got a record. He goes, "Oh, no, you're supposed to let me go first for the good stuff." And they were asking
past all the good stuff.
They were asking $5 for a little handheld recorder. It was like brand new in the box. They sell for about $25 on eBay. And the reason I'm telling people this who are listening is because, well, what do you buy? What did you get? And stuff like that. That's one thing I like about the flea markets. What's different about retail arbitrage is you're not gonna find that 1 or 2 items that we find at a flea market. If I tell you, like, Scott is famous for the Monopoly. Well, then they're going to go and you're going to get 100 people going to buy the Monopoly and see what happens. Some people got stuck with them and they couldn't sell them, and then the price crashed. Well, these unique things that you buy at the flea market and stuff like that, you're not easily finding those things.
No, in fact, that's why a lot of the stuff I buy that you see on some of the videos, a fair amount of it, I just, when it's between $10 and $30, a lot of times I just shovel to the back room, and save it for another time. And it's just like that stuff I know will not depreciate. It might even appreciate, or
right.
It could fluctuate a little bit, but it's not going to go like, in the crapper.
Right. Now, Eric, what do you specialize in selling? Is there a certain niche that you do?
If I can make money on it, I pretty much sell it. But the things I like to buy are ephemera, and I have a passion for slides.
I like that stuff too.
I've talked about it. I probably got a couple 100,000 slides sitting in this room right here.
Do you buy postcards at all or no?
I do postcards as well. I don't know it as well as like Don the auction professor. He's an expert in that type of stuff.
He's one of my favorite people. Yeah.
So I watch his channel because I gather information from him. I try to do anything that I can get in bulk that is easy to handle. If you go back and look at some of my videos, I talk about stock certificates. I bought about 5,000 stock certificates in January, and I've sold about 2,000 of them. So, but it takes a certain way to handle those type of things. I had to figure out how to handle that. So I ended up with, buying a scanner to scan all that type of stuff. So
do you, I've bought stock certificates, because I like to follow the market, and that's one of the things I like. Like, some of the old Disney ones, and the railroad ones are pretty common. But come over here. I
had everything. I had everything from Paramount Studios, railroad, distilleries. I've got New York State bonds from when they were building the canals and things like that. So
yeah.
The one that I have that's probably the most popular is I got a gold bond from a railroad down in Alabama. Actually, I've sold 2 or 3 of those this week. So
Yeah. Now the week before I was down at the flea market, I had picked this up. This is postcards of Easton, Pennsylvania, and they had it framed. And I picked it up and I thought, you know what, maybe I could sell this to a place in Easton, Pennsylvania that would want, like a business or somebody that would want to throw it on their wall, because they're not going to, I mean, you know yourself, to get that matted and framed like that, it's $50-$60.
well, yeah, I mean, I'll give you a great example. I bought a lot of stuff from a car guy, and he had really cool stuff, but he had rolled, it was an original poster.
Oh, that's nice.
This is a 1967. The guy it's called the Roach Studios. It's actually here in Columbus, but the guy was a student of Big Daddy Ed Roth and all his type of stuff, the Rat Fink stuff and all that.
That's nice. That would make a great even T-shirt. I mean,
well, that's what happens is they would do these screen prints and then they would make T-shirts off of them. But this is actually a poster.
Yeah.
And when I got it, it was still rolled in the original shipping, and I actually cut the label off. I have the label here to ship with the item. But I was looking at it, I'm like, there's no one's going to buy it. So I actually paid to have it framed and matted. It cost me $110 to do this.
Right. I used to own stock in a company called Pixar that Steve Jobs was involved in when he left Apple, and then eventually Disney bought. You know, they make the cars and the slides and stuff. They sent stockholders unique stuff, and I had it framed at Michael's. Now this Easton postcard thing, I paid $10 for that. I really think I could probably get 40 or 50 if I sell it to a person in Easton that would want to hang it in a business or something. You know, because the postcards are from like the 50s, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 12 of them.
Yeah. I've got that up. I think I've got it listed right now for about 500.
Wow.
It's just super rare.
Yeah. I love the colors.
So to me, it's if I don't sell it, it's going to sit on the wall. I don't have a problem with putting that on the wall. So to me, that's the type of stuff I picked up. But when I bought out this guy's estate of magazines, and I went there and I bought. They were selling it in like 10 bankers boxes full of magazines. These are old car magazines. I didn't pay. I paid like $6 for a lot. So I got there, and they ended up giving me all the ones that never got picked up. And in those lots were like car brochures, Porsche brochures, Ferrari stuff. I actually just got them organized in my garage this week. I ended up with 37 boxes that I got for free. And when I get to them, I have no idea. But I got posters from this guy. That's all those blue binders back there. That's his entire slide collection. He was a photographer for car magazines in the 70s. So right. I got all his pictures. There's racing and drag racing and car shows and stuff like that. So to me, I mean, that's the type of stuff I like to sell, where I get a lot of it, and I can take my time getting it up, and it moves.
Eric, remember those slides I sold you too with the Brooklyn Bridge and stuff? Those pictures were awesome.
Actually, the best ones are still sitting right here. I have them listed. I just keep them here because they actually sell, and they're pretty easy to keep shipped. But yeah, I mean, they're really cool. Old Brooklyn Bridge, early 70s, because they were still building the World Trade or the Twin Towers at that time. So there's actually construction pictures of the Twin Towers in there and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody asked, how do you sell slides? It's all about subject matter. It's, make sure they have good color in them, but, planes, trains, and automobiles sell the best. If you look at my YouTube icon, I think it is one of them, it'll show like a picture of an old American Airlines plane. I sold that. That was a slide I sold for over $250. It was 1939.
Yeah, that was nice.
So, I've never lost money on slides. I do have about 10,000 train slides. I've only, barely got them up, but
that auction killed me, man.
Yeah,
I've never been so bored in my life at an auction.
That was the worst auction I've ever been to, when it's only 4 people buying at the auction.
There were like 10,000 just square boxes, all slides. And they're like lot 1, lot 2. It was like being at like a coin auction when you don't collect.
Yeah, it was terrible. And it ended up being me and another guy bidding, and I would run him up, drop it on him. He'd run me up, drop it on me, and we just kind of traded back and forth. Did that for the entire auction, and I finally ended up spending $1,000 that day, and walked out with over 10,000 slides. He bought more than I did, and the funny thing is when we got to those stocks, that was two months later at the stock auction. It was me and the same guy, and I actually bought more stocks than he did. You know, it was just kind of, and we kind of recognized each other and just realized that we don't need to compete against each other. If I'm bidding, he dropped out. If he was bidding, I dropped out.
Right. Why get crazy?
So Thrift Daddy asked if we sold cabinet cards and CDVs. Yeah, I have. The key with that is where were they taken? Cabinet cards and CDVs, a lot of those will tell you that there's they usually have the photographer's address on there. And so you can sell those as local history to that town. That's how you kind of have to advertise them.
Eric,
a lot of those,
what they are?
What?
Can you explain what they are? I've never.
Cabinet cards and CDVs. There's old photographs, but they're more like about a 3x6, and they're on cardboard. And they're just your typical. Those are more 1890s all the way up to about 1920, sometimes as late as 1930. It's just a different style of photograph, and it's not like film or like a picture that you've had printed out. Like you see some of the snapshot print pictures and stuff when you do like the 1940s pictures. It's a hard card, and you'll see those in a lot of the old Victorian photo albums where it's a big card spot, and you can just tell where a card slides in there. It's a real hard thing. You usually get one on one side, one on the other. Not like photo albums nowadays. We got 50 photos on each page, but they're actually rather elaborate. But it was an expensive thing to have done back in the day. So the best ones of those are when you get the post-mortem type photos of those, the post-mortem CDVs and cabinet cards where they were taking pictures of people that had passed away. Those bring the most money, but those are hard to find.
You know what else I look for in those actually is a lot of times an object that the person is holding, like a girl with a little antique doll or a carpenter holding a wood plane, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Any old photograph and it's got a military uniform or a guy with a gun, good money, guaranteed good money. Maybe he's riding in a cool car that, 1919 Model T or something like that. That's going to bring better money than just a picture of a guy. Yeah. It's all about, so again, it goes back to slides and everything. It's all about subject matter. And again, planes, trains, and automobiles sell the best. But street scenes of stuff that's not here anymore, big sellers. Thrift Day says Civil War, anything Civil War photo wise is fantastic money. But if you get Civil War uniform with weapons and swords, and you're $400 or $500 for a photo.
With the Civil War stuff, you're more in the, I always pronounce it wrong.
Those are tintypes. Daguerreotypes. You got some daguerreotypes and you got some tintypes. Yeah. There's amber type. There's all kinds. It's an interesting history to see where the photographic world came from. I've got some glass plate negatives sitting right back there. Those are really cool. These are like 1890s. Grab them.
Little Marvin, that lion was in the last video he did, actually. Took it out.
Let's see. Let me find a.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's going to be a bad glare on that one. Let me see.
Oh, you saw that last video, Pat?
No. I was going to ask Eric, but I'm so into him explaining some of the stuff. Again, this is what I like, and this is why I wanted to come in to learn from you guys and learn things. Let's face it. There are some people out there that they're just selling. They don't want to learn, or they're not. They kind of don't have the passion for the hunt of getting things and learn. Making. American Picker is my favorite show because I like the history of stuff and the value that people sign. Because younger generation doesn't collect much anymore.
Yeah. Well, like I said, these are negatives. This is like a lady standing in the woods. And it's hard to.
Are those glass?
Yeah, these are glass plate negatives. These are 18. Really cool is I have the original boxes that they came in. I've got like 60 of them, and just some really great images all out west. And they're 1890s. I think I dated the packages like 1892 or something like that. So those are the big cameras where they would print it on the glass, and then they would print that. They print cabinet cards and stuff off of these.
So wait, how do you photograph those glass ones?
I scan them.
Oh, do you? They'll come.
I have 4 scanners. So I'm a little set up to do the images. I have a slide scanner. I have just a regular flatbed scanner that goes to my printer. I have a high-end flatbed scanner, which is a high-end Epson that I paid a lot of money for, but it does really good quality stuff. then I have a scan snap that'll do fast. It'll do my stock certificates, baseball cards, postcards, and it'll do both sides at the same time. So it's stuff that if you're set up with the right equipment, it's actually easy to do. I actually have all that stuff already scanned, all these glass negatives already scanned and ready to list. But I think I'm going to probably put them as a lot, just because they all kind of go together and it's hard to break stuff like that up. But what it's going to bring, I don't know, a couple $100 maybe. I paid like $20 for all of them.
You know, Jessica's asking a good question. I don't really thrift. How about you, Pat? You think you can answer that?
Yeah, I go to Goodwill. I go to Salvation Army. I'm going to an estate sale this weekend. As you know, I do the flea markets. I'm looking for multiple sources because I really want a good variety because I don't have the knowledge that you do, Jason, when it comes to machines and computers and parts and stuff like that. So I want to have in other words, a lot of my stuff is sort of low risk as far as putting out a lot of money. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only problem is like my average sale right now between the two stores is only around $20, $25. I do have an occasional item that sells. Like I sold a pair of Hugo. I went to a boutique Goodwill, and I bought a pair of Italian shoes for $30. They were brand new in the box, and they special felt bags. I listed they retail for $6.95, but traditionally you can buy them off the website for 40% off. I listed them for $245, and I took a best offer of $200. I've gone to the Salvation Army plenty of times where another pair of boots I bought, a store closed out, and they were ladies' boots that were black but had like a pearl straps on them, and I bought them for $10, and I sold them to somebody in Texas for $100. So I'm always open and willing to stop at places. I mean, sometimes you got in the beginning, maybe I was buying too much junk. I'll be honest, because the price seemed to be right, and but and some people could say, oh, it's only $1 or $2. Well, yeah, but you got $1,000 tied up in the stuff that's not moving. I would rather have the $1,000 tied up into better quality stuff that will turn, because this is about turning your money.
Definitely, Pat. Except, I got to say, if you're only full time since January, averaging in the 20s really is pretty good.
Yeah.
Right, Eric? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my average ticket works out to about $24, $25.
Yeah, I went from zero to December I did like $6,000 for the month, and then I'm not doing enough to make it worthwhile. I think for me to really make $40,000 and say this is worth it, I probably need to do $100,000 between Amazon and eBay. I've sold probably $18,000 worth of stuff in the last 4 months. So, I'm on my way, but this is why I'm constantly learning and looking for opportunities to get, and people, now Lisa just mentioned about storage space. Fortunately, I have a lot of, I built my house here 15 years ago, and we have a full attic and a full basement. And actually what I'm doing is we're redoing the basement now to kind of set up, because right now I've basically, be honest, I took over the kitchen and the living room too much, and I need to put it downstairs. So we're putting in some more outlets and painting, and then instead of having now I put this up behind me just actually today, but downstairs I'll be able to put up pictures that I have in artwork, that then when people are tuning into my channel, they'll know by just seeing some of that stuff, and there'll be a shelf with some unique things. I found this at a thrift store. I think I paid like $3 for it. I didn't even know how. I tried to look it up on eBay. Someone told me there's like a photo service, but you know what? It's so unique looking and it's metal. I said for $3, I'm going to keep it. And
what's the bottom side look like?
There's nothing on it. There's no stamp. But it's metal, and it just kind of has this.
I like it.
To me, keep pushing forward, and a unique sculpture. It's
kind of look like a trophy topper, but there would be some way to connect it to the.
Yeah, no, there's no. I know what you mean, because there would usually be that round hole with the screw.
Yeah,
and that's not there. I wonder if this was something that maybe sat in like an executive. How they put it in the office.
Yeah, it's very modern art looking type deal. So
I wonder if there's a bigger version of this for real somewhere. in front of a building and stuff. But unique things like that. Like I'm gonna just keep it for myself, because it'll look nice on a shelf behind me, and it's interesting, And again, I value it. Somebody didn't. I got this either at the Goodwill or the Salvation Army for $3.
Okay. Well, Louis the Seller posed an interesting question. I mean, I don't know. It's like nothing's really hurt vintage collectibles too much. You never know moving forward, but I always thought it would be interesting if eBay actually split into two different websites. One for like antique collectibles and stuff, and then just one for new stuff. It's just an interesting thought. I don't know.
Yeah, the antiques and collectible market is never going to go away. You just have to be able to understand trends and be able to adjust your business. I was watching Jim and Tara's video earlier today, and they were talking about yearbooks and how yearbooks are kind of changing. And we've been saying that for a while, that, yearbooks used to be really good, good money to get into, things like that. But that dynamic changes. It used to be 30s and 40s were the best, big schools, things like that. But nowadays it's more 60s and 70s, because those people are hitting their 40th or 50th year reunions, and even some of the 80s stuff is coming up. My 35th year reunion is coming up this year, and so those are the type of people that you need to be selling to now. They actually have come into that late 40s, early 50s where they've got the money to spend on stuff, and the interest is there, but they're not interested in something that happened back in the 30s or 40s, unless it's a famous person. But
or maybe me, I actually buy some of those if I can get them cheap, like $1 to $3. I pick them up because I always think that maybe someone, they want to see their grandfather, or
Yeah, but there's more of a market into I'm buying it for my old thing. So the better money's in the newer stuff. But I kind of got out of yearbooks because it's just not bringing that much money. I mean, I still sell them. I still have quite a few up, but I'm not, unless they've got to be really, really cheap for me to buy them now. So, I mean,
right.
I got to be into them for less than $1. So,
right. I agree with that. Now, I have a David Letterman one. I'm a fan of his, and I paid $100 for it. But there's only so many of those that were made. It's not like now where they have the ability to maybe go back and they can go now, and if they needed 20 more, they can print on demand. Where those books made back in the 50s and 60s, there's no more printing those.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, they're limited print runs. I mean, as Jim and Tara were talking about, I mean, you got 300 people in the class. Maybe
that's all there is
for teachers and class and the libraries and stuff, and that's it. And so, if you got somebody like for us, because I get Ohio State stuff a lot because it's Columbus here, but you can find a lot of the old Ohio State football stars. Again, smaller classes. College is a little bit bigger, but the smaller classes means that there's people that still collect that type of stuff, and you can usually find a buyer for things like that. But to me, it's just one of those things that they're big and they're heavy and they're kind of a pain to ship, and you can't media mail them, so you got to deal with. People don't want to pay the $8 shipping for them, and so I just don't like to pick them up that often. But again, if the price is right, I'll pick anything up.
Now, where I went to school, I've been trying to find, just for historical purposes, to preserve where I went to school. If I can find one for around $10, I'll buy one of every year that there was for that school, and I probably have 20 of them prior to when I was in school. And again, it's just one of those things that somebody wants to look back and say, hey, my grandfather went to school. And it's funny because I found a lot of people in there that I know in the business community and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, they're so and so. I didn't know they went to school together, and and sometimes you go and show these people that I know, and they kind of forget about things, or they didn't know the kid in school. Then all of a sudden that guy is like a real estate broker in town, successful, and all of a sudden, look at him, there he is, and I like when I can find them that they're not written in, and they're in good shape, because some people took care of them. They got them, they threw them in the closet or the attic, and
most people don't leaf through them. I mean, every yearbook I've ever had, unless they've been damaged because of storage, they're always in fantastic shape. I mean, the most expensive one I've ever sold was a 1900 Harvard. I got $600 for that, but I paid $200 for it. So it's not like it was a smoking deal, but I knew it was going to be a good yearbook.
Right.
I went to the auction up in Bodnar's auction, which, I mean, if you haven't been to Bodnar's and that's near enough to you to go to it,
Oh,
you got to
Pat,
go to the auction
No,
house.
what's it called?
It's called Bodnar's Auction House. It's in Edison, New Jersey.
Oh,
I'll take you there, Pat.
Yeah, you
Okay.
got to go, because we have made, well, Jason so far has made, probably $100,000 off of Bodnar's. I mean, I've made, I don't know, 20,000. I mean, it's hard to say.
wow.
It's a great auction company. And again, anybody in that area, you need to check it out. You will pay a little higher price than you're probably more comfortable with, but you'll make good money because they do good stuff. But it's crazy. It's 5-6 rings going at any one time. You got to go with extra people, because you can be bidding on something here and you want something over there. It was insane.
Yeah, there's like 5-6 rings easy at that place. Yeah, it really is nuts. You really need helpers there.
Yeah,
That was the place where I bought all the I spent 20,000. I bought all the video game stuff, and then I flipped it for like 80 something.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to do that, Jason?
Oh my God, so fast.
Wow. Wow.
and you had most of it in like 4 months. You still have some left over, but that's systems and things like that.
Yeah, the first run that I did for the first 30 days, I topped like, I think it was like 50 something thousand in a 30-day span. It was insane. It like blew away my previous record.
Wow. And then when you're doing that, and when you have that kind of cash flow, that allows you to do better deals and do more and just keep turning it over.
It allows you to buy cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's that's kind of like when Jason and I are together, we always end up, for some reason, we always end up spending a couple $1,000s, but it's because you buy enough that your per item cost. Like, I bought all those record needles out of Kibner's, and my per cost in each one of those is like 40 to 50 cents.
Right.
And I'm getting $20 to $30 for these things at this point.
Right.
So
well, that's how it was with the patterns. I had said to Scott, I said, it's 40 cents. I'll be honest, I've bought a lotto ticket for $20 and lost and threw it in the garbage. So I said, if I sell 5 or 6 of them, I got my money back, and they're cheap to ship in an envelope. So.
Well, that's kind of what I always recommend. I mean, that's why I don't do the thrift stores that much anymore, because I cannot buy in bulk. I'm single picking at that point. I'm buying one item, and I don't like to buy like that.
Yeah.
I don't mind going to an auction and buying box lots, or I don't mind going and buying table lots, but I'd much rather deal with an estate sale where I can bundle it all together, or
right.
A flea market. Maybe I can work with something like it, but I don't even really flea market that much, because that's a third person. That's, they got it from somebody, they paid something for it.
Of course. Yeah.
Middlemaning it, and I got a middleman. And a lot of flea marketers don't leave enough money on the bone there to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
I do occasionally, but it's not really worth my time. I online auction arbitrage.
Eric, do you have a warehouse?
Nope. I work out of my house.
Eric has a room, a big room.
It's about 15 by 25 that I work out of.
There's people asking questions, Jason, if you guys want to.
Louis the Seller has another really good question tonight. As far as that, what I do, and this has always been my MO even before the Good Till Canceled conundrum lately, is that I run auctions first at set prices, and then I flip those to buy it nows, and then I wait 30 days or so, and then I'll flip them back again to auction, and keep repeating that, and every time I'll maybe lower by a certain percent. And that gets me pretty good. I mean, but I sell a lot of different stuff though. My hardest part is that I don't have a large amount of items in my eBay store at any given time, because my sell-through rate's pretty good. So, I mean, like right now I only have maybe
216.
Oh, thank you. Eric knows. I don't.
Well, yeah, but that's because, I mean, Jason's more of an auction person. I mean, he'll list 200 items and sell 125 of them in a week. So it's a different model. For me, I have over 2,000 items.
And wait, hold on. I just want to add, that only really works when you're selling kind of like niche items, or whatever you want to call it, where there's a bit of a demand for things. Otherwise, with general merchandise, that rule doesn't really work as well.
It's got to be very, very, and even then, even some of the specialized stuff, it's not gonna catch the person at the right time. But yeah, and Jason, the stuff Jason sells, he knows what he's going to get out of it. He puts it up for basically what it should sell for, and every now and then people get a little crazy and get a little nuts on, oh, I gotta have it, or you get a couple of people fighting for it because they need it. So it doesn't work for your everyday items like I have in my store. I do auctions, but they're very, very rare. It's only if I think it's worth more than I'm comfortable listing it for, because I'm like, I wouldn't pay that much, but somebody might. For me, the good till cancel thing I was not happy with, because my old way of listing was relist everything every 5 days. I have an anchor store, so I had less than 2,000 items. I could relist everything every 5 days, and I would never use up all of my listings. I have not been doing that, and I've been kind of tracking everything. And I do believe that eBay did do some tweaks to the Cassini search engine, but I also know that things still do get buried. So like tonight, I went in and I relisted. I ended 400 items and I relisted them. One thing I do recommend, though, if you are going to do something like that, change something in the listing. I always change the price. I either raise it or I lower it, and it's usually by 1 or 2%. And it's actually really easy to go in and do that. You just go to the price, go to the editing function when you're into your screen, and just lower it by 1% or raise it by 1%. It's a different listing at that point. That's the best way. I mean, and then when you hit the relist, it's going to be a different item, and it seems to get a little bit more visibility at that point. But I haven't really seen a huge turn down of my sales since I went to good till cancel. So I'm not doing it as much as I used to. I'll say that. Plus, I have more listings up now. I've been more concentrating on listing new items, and the more I list, the more I sell. Sorry, Banana didn't copy you.
I like you too, Tara. Tara knows I've always liked Tara. Those guys are, Jim and Tara are totally legit.
I want to know, when are they moving?
I know. I thought they moved already until she told me last week that she was still in.
Yeah, well, I saw the video and they're talking about being in Wisconsin. I thought they were moving. I mean, I know they were talking about waiting until their son got out of school. I just want to watch the semi loads of warehouse merchandise go down the highway. That's what I want to see.
No, I want to see more pictures of Jim in front of the RV. That was.
Yeah, no, I don't need to see that again ever.
This time without the picture.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, why don't we go ahead and do kind of what we were talking about doing? What we're doing is we're doing this video because we wanted to kind of show people what we'd sold here recently, without making a what I sold video. And so we decided we set up things up to just kind of run through our store's sold listings and show everything what it is. And like I said, Jason just finished up his auction with a lot of the gun stuff, and I know a lot of people were interested in that because he just finished that auction, and I think he got another one getting ready to start anyway. So, but go ahead and share your screen and let's start that process.
Okay, of course. Now, like after several glasses of wine, I forget how to do it. Let's see here.
Find the share screen. Make sure you hit the right.
So just all right, hit the share screen, and then we'll
into the application window.
And then choose that and hit
highlight the
share.
And then make sure you put your circle around yourself.
Oh yeah. Okay. Can everybody see this?
Well, I can. I don't know if everybody else can.
Yeah. Audience, let us know. Can you see this clearly? Is it too small, too big?
It's a little too small.
It's a little too small?
Just, yeah, it's taking up basically one third of the screen.
You're still switching screen, Jason. Go ahead and...
What am I doing?
It's switching screens when we talk.
It is? I have it on me.
Okay. It switched when Pat talked, so...
Pat, say
is
something.
It now?
No, it's not now.
For me, it is.
For me, it's not.
All right, I'll be quiet.
Audience, is it moving at all between me and Eric? Not switching. Okay, cool. It's a little small. Let me see it. I don't know if I can make. I already have it at 200%.
I'll go a little larger then. I mean, I think you go up to.
No, see, now I think it's making it smaller, right?
No, that's fine. We just didn't lose some of the. You still see the picture in the
Price.
And the price. That's all that really matters.
Right.
But it's cutting the name a bit. See, but now it's that better?
I think that's fine.
Yeah. People will still get the bit.
Full screened.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I can't get any really bigger for right now. So
That looks good.
okay.
Yeah, it looks sharp.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. Like I said, this is like we're trying this for the first time. We're not sure if this is really going to work great or not, but let's give it a whirl. So this is stuff that I've sold lately. And I'm just going to randomly flip through this stuff because there's a lot of things here, but just to give you a rough idea on kind of like, I guess, what I sold.
Jason's terrible at what I sold videos, by the way.
Yeah, I am like, I can fly through these and like, what was that last one that was like?
You did a what I sold video on Coleco video games, a very interesting topic for everybody to look and see the current pricing on video games. And he did 50 items in 4 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was 30
It's
something.
absolutely terrible. He doesn't like to put the flavor of what he has in there. So, you know,
I'm bad at describing and stuff. I know.
yeah, but basically, all these gun tools came out of an online estate sale and auction, and it was all in one box. And you paid, how much did you pay for the box again?
It was $960 plus 15%, if I remember right.
So just about $1,100 for the box.
Now, Eric's going to narrate, so that should slow things
down. And most of these got at least one bid. Well, they obviously got a bid, but I mean, several of these actually, several of these items actually really took off well.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised. It was interesting is doing the research on all these, it took a long time. It took, about a week's worth of research, just because we didn't know what it was either. I mean, we knew they were authentic, they were antique, but there's so many different little nuances in the tools that look the same, that it just took time, and a lot of it was visual searching and then doing some measuring and things like that. But like, just what you see on the screen right here, this black powder, a little black powder scoop, hard to imagine, but it got $50, and that was right where it should have gotten as well.
Yeah, if you see prices like this where they're, $.99, that means that more than likely that's the starting, that it was sold at the starting price that I set it at.
All right, just kind of scroll down.
Okay, so we'll scroll a little. So
these are just little oil cans. I mean, everybody knows about oil cans and the sewing machine oil cans and things like that, but these are gun oil cans, and $20 a piece, but there was a bunch of them.
Yeah, I think there ended up being about 15, if I remember right.
Now, how big are these items? They look very small,
like 3 inches maybe.
Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah,
3 1/4.
Almost all of these tools are between 3 and 5 inches.
Every single thing is first class. There was nothing that went outside the first class realm.
So that was a mainspring vise. That's for working on your musket, and that's an 1873. That's not the year that this tool was made. That's the model number of the original gun. So that could have been made anywhere from 1873 up to about 1900. So that's just a little reflector. I mean, there's another little oil can. I mean, it's just kind of cool, but it was $10. $20, and there's a woodworking plane. I don't know anything about that stuff, but
yeah, that was just a very basic little plane. Some lathe parts. This was nice.
These were cool. This is it's a spare parts container that actually goes into the butt of your 1903 Springfield rifle. Very, very rare, and we didn't even know how much they would sell for. And you got $400, and he's got another one. So I mean, it's really kind of cool.
Yeah, so right there alone, that's 800 back almost, minus fees or whatever. And of course, I when I drove down there, I used gas, and I think I had to rotate my tires at some point. We could add that.
You got to get all those costs covered. Like that front sight cover, you've got what, 8 or 9 of those things?
Yeah, I have a lot of these. Yeah.
Yeah, $50 for a little screwdriver with an oil can. Again. And again, he's got multiple quantities of most of this stuff. This is a Mississippi River combo tool. I mean, again, and if you look, you're going to notice there's a common theme between some of these things. They look almost exactly alike, and it was finding those little nuances is really what actually helped maintain the value in it. So don't discount doing proper research. If you don't know what it is, you gotta really get work with it. And that's why these hangouts that we do, like the appearance hangouts, and when you're hanging out with your friends, if you're not in a group like that, try and get yourself into a group, because they can help you do the research, and having more eyes on this stuff can really help you out.
Yeah, me and Eric spent hours in the hangout, both of us trying to ID a lot of these parts. Some were marked, but there was a fair share that weren't. And we still even have a couple that we still haven't figured out yet.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool, Revolutionary War era.
Yep.
Doesn't get too much older.
1700s, for some of these tools. So
a little screwdriver. These are machinist blocks. Carrot stuff. There's a little wrench. This guy left me such a nice positive feedback. He was like,
yeah, you should, because he stole that from you.
Yeah.
That piece right there should have sold for $700 or $800.
I told you we should have split this one up, man. Yeah. But
it is what it is.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Little sights. So you're gonna see a lot of these wrenches. What are these wrenches for again, Eric?
They're rifle wrenches. They're for taking apart your rifle, working on your rifle. And these were actually, the nice thing about these is when they would ship from the factory, they would ship like a case of 20 rifles, and you'd get one wrench. And that would be for their armor to actually set the guns up and everything. And so that's why they're not as common as the guns are. And you get a lot of guys who, especially a lot of this is Civil War era. And so you get a lot of reenactors, and they have the original guns. They want the original tools as well.
You could almost see Pat soaking up the information.
Oh, I'm impressed with all this. I'll be honest. I'd like to do shows again like this, where you guys were talking about what you sell and what you're doing, and I'm learning. This to me is cool.
Pat, to be honest with you, a lot of the times I'm learning too. Like this stuff, I'm not really a gun seller, even though I sell tools. I very rarely do I get gun stuff. It's not really my thing. But I knew the value there when I saw this lot, and I was like, you know what? Let's buy gun stuff today.
Yeah, because that was one of those. It was an auction where if I had been there, we would have bought more, because it was just, there was a lot more stuff that could have been bought. But it was kind of one of those things. If you're not going to buy it, Jason, I'm going to buy it. Because I could recognize the value of it right there as well. So yeah, it's just in other people recognize it. Otherwise, it would have never gone. But this was literally in a toolbox case. Is about 24 inches long by about 18 inches tall. All this gun stuff was in one box.
So we
got the storage unit. Your eyeglasses there.
Yeah, I got a bunch of these in different styles and stuff that I've slowly been selling out of a storage unit. What else we got? That's
a little piece of wood brought that much money. I mean, there's a sight for a Winchester Model 54, $153, and I think you started that out like $60, didn't you?
No, 100.
100. Okay.
This little piece of wood was interesting. That's actually. Explain it, Eric. You explained it to me.
It's a top. It's made to design to actually just to help load and everything. It's just a piece of wood that goes into the shell. I mean, it's really very simple tool, but again, because it's an original piece, people want that original thing. You can buy reproductions of this stuff all day long for $7 or $8.
Yeah, but that specific piece was in case you're going through, it's raining or something, right?
Yeah, you plug the barrel or something. Like I can't remember. There's just so much stuff we were doing.
Yeah, this one was interesting too. I'd never seen this before.
Yeah, it was a strange. I'd never seen this tool before. And Ideal is a big gun company, and they make a lot of reloading stuff. And this is actually to indent the shells. And this is something I'd never heard of until we started looking into it. And it's a way to help accuracy and things like that. But it's just a strange tool, and people don't do it nowadays. Nowadays you don't deform your brass at all or anything like that. You just kind of let it go, and you fire form it to the chamber and all that type of stuff. But this is a piece I'd never even heard of before. And you got to talk about this piece. We have to give props to your wife for this one.
Yes, we will. This had a sticker on it that I couldn't quite read, so it was going in the unidentified pile. And I thought it said spare handle, and what it really said was spade handle, meaning like spade, I guess was what the guy was referring to as a trowel. We figured it out through searches.
Yeah.
All
But it was funny because he's yelling at his wife, stop touching that, stop touching that, because she's kind of messing up his system there. And she picks it up and goes, oh, it's a spade handle. And you're like, it's spare. No, it's a spade. And it took us 2 seconds to find it after we got that name out of there. So I mean, and that thing ended up being $150. We thought it was gonna go for like $20 or something. So.
Yeah, it's literally just a piece of wood with a little metal tip right here. Really thought it was just like a $20 part.
And then, yeah, this is an Austrian Lorenz. So I mean, we even had some foreign guns and stuff in here that were just crazy. $76 for that, and then these that wrench right there, an original Remington 1858 wrench. That's Civil War period totally. And what's nice is you got a couple of these, right?
Yeah, there were several of these as we scroll through. I sold every one of this style, and I still have, I think, 5 more, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the rolling block rifle, that's $30 part. This is a little antique priming tool, $10 for a wrench that no one's ever going to use. But here's another one of those mainspring vices for a little different gun, $130. This is a little newer piece right here. This is for that Utica pliers. There is actually for a World War II type rifle. So you had everything from Revolutionary War all the way up to actually into the Vietnam era. So this guy was just an amazing collector of tools and stuff.
Yeah, in fact, this one took us a while to ID first, even though it was stamped.
Keep scrolling on down. And more of these reflectors. Now you've got 2 of those. So
yeah, I have 2 of these. I didn't put the other one up yet because they're duplicates. I didn't want to sell 2 at the same time.
No, Jason, how many stores do you have? Just the one?
I have 2 eBay stores and a third account for buying. My second store, I really don't use much unless I'm outside of the scope of vintage collectible. Like if I'm like I get a storage locker full of like sneakers I want to sell or something, I'll use my second account for that type of stuff.
I just noticed that. I mean, looking at the dates, I mean, you're having some tremendous days.
Yeah,
he closes his auctions all at once. He launches it as an auction. This one had 100 items in it.
Yeah, see, the one thing I love to do, Pat, is I like to buy collections, and then I like to put break it down and sell the individual items all at once so that it generates as much exposure as possible. It's kind of like self-promoting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's positives and negatives about that. The positive is you got people are looking at a ton of stuff in your store. The negatives is if they have a limited amount of funds, it means you lose a little possible money because they can't buy what they would normally buy if it came up once a week. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there if you do it that way. I mean, the same way with the video games that he sold earlier this year. When you're selling all the video games for a certain system, guys have a limited amount of funds, but there were so many people that were buying that stuff. It brought the best money anyway.
Right. I remember in the video game stuff, the first run I put up was 800 individual auctions, and they were all individual items.
And they all ended at the same time, and his phone had a heart attack.
Well, I'm thinking, oh my, when he looks at it and I got to ship out 300 items, in 1 to 2 days, it's a lot of work.
Well, Jason has 3-day handling, and he ended those. You didn't do those on a Friday, didn't you?
I believe so. Yeah. So I gave myself ample time.
Okay.
And a lot of that got combined. I mean, there was a lot of guys that were buying 5 and 10 lots, so it actually made it pretty easy. Same as there's some combined stuff in here as well.
There was a lot of combined. It ended up going for, if I remember right, I think it was around 150 to 160 the next morning that I had waiting in the shipping queue. Because a lot of people bought 10 and 20, I had one guy who's actually a famous person buy. Geez, how much did he buy, Eric?
I think he spent about $10,000 with you total. He's an F1 race car driver.
Yeah,
so, yeah. We go look. I mean, guy's a champion. So let's just put it that way. I mean, he's definitely somebody who had the money to spend. And actually, he was upset because he didn't get to buy everything he really wanted because he had missed some of the stuff. But he turned out to be a great customer because he kept coming back and hitting you for more stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Stash said next time with items put antique on them versus vintage. We discussed that, and believe it or not, 90% of this stuff was sold with the vintage term on it, even though it's an original antique piece. It's that's the way most people were listing them. They weren't using the antique name on them.
Yeah, I put a lot of thought into that actually, because my immediate process was like, this is really antique, but after me and Eric were going back and forth, I remember this conversation for like quite a while and doing research and stuff. And we're just like, all right, let's keep it down to the vintage after all. But you're absolutely right.
It was definitely interesting, everything. These little J screwdrivers brought just serious money. And again, these things are they're like that big. They're not big at all. You're not even 4 inches long. I mean,
yeah, you're gonna see they're 3 inches something, right? Yeah, 3 9/16. You're gonna see I sold 2 of them this round, and I have 5 more in the queue waiting.
I remember you showing that to us when we met up this weekend.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, here's another World War II. Now we're back at World War II, right?
Yep. And then the 1897 Krag is that's a Spanish-American War. Very limited use for that rifle. There's this is that little cold screwdriver that you got $50 for is literally a piece of metal that has a little bit of machining on the end.
Yeah, it just has a little screwdriver blade at each end. Here's the other one, Pat. This one even sold better.
Wow.
Another oil can.
Yeah, we did have a Spencer item there, which was actually a Confederate rifle that was used. You have to be careful with this stuff. It's like the Whitney revolver here. That was a very, very rare rifle. They only made about 1,000 of those revolvers. That's why the wrench is so hard to find. And I think that was your best seller besides the Springfield kit, wasn't it?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you. It's one of the up there ones though, for sure. I know I have another one of these.
Yep. Here's another powder scoop again, $50.
And this one's very basic. This is just a scoop with no degrees.
This is a kind of a cool little piece. It actually has nipple wrench, and there's extra nipples in it, and it's an oiler as well. I mean, just kind of a neat little item there.
These little brass tips all come out, and there's different tools inside each one. It's very interesting.
Civil War era probably made the most dollars when you get down to it, because most of the stuff was Civil War.
Well, the most stuff that was the revolver stuff rather than the rifle. I'll take a step further. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what's. I mean, Mr. Ness says he was talking about the video. And he says got $19 for something we didn't even know what it is. If you get it into the right category, especially when you do it in this type of format where you're selling a lot of the same stuff, you're going to get the guys that do know what it is, and they're going to buy it even though you don't know what it is. They're comfortable paying for it, and you might get 2 or 3 guys fighting for it. Yep, there's another Civil War wrench.
And another one.
Yep.
Star. That was pretty rare, if I remember.
And then you get the SKS, which is actually that's more Vietnam era. So I mean, it kind of went everywhere around.
I sold one of these tube benders. This I ended up buying. I think it was a stack of 10 of these. They were in a bag, in a bulk lot that I bought, and I've sold I think 8 so far. These are some posters with machine tool posters with the, like drill decimal and drill equivalent stuff.
You sold a Suzuki Samurai model kit?
Oh, model, yeah, it's cute. These are machine tool kits for making different. These are for making different attachments for a lathe. These are the raw materials and blueprints to make all these different attachments. These are pretty neat.
And we bought those in January.
Like, see this milling attachment here. We'll come back to this later. I think I sold a complete one. Some more late. Here's that antenna, that TV antenna.
Oh, okay. I forgot you sold that one.
You have a little hand vise. Machine part. That's a saw set for setting the saw blades on a hand saw. couple of rules, a couple of squares, a pneumatic stapler.
And this is some of the other stuff from that one video. A different buy. This was an estate sale. A lot of this stuff was where you're buying just the tools and the bits and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is a mixed bag of a couple of different things that some of this has been sitting around for a while. I just got to now. Small little parts, blah blah blah. Router, chisels. Oh, I got 100 for that axe that I showed.
Oh, that's nice looking.
Yeah,
shape.
And it says Lewistown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
There's some leather clicker dies.
Yeah, here's some of these are the little tiny ones.
Now, what are they?
Watch the video on my channel from yesterday. You'll understand the clicker die reference. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Check out that video because I gave you a little shout out on there.
Eric, what is your channel?
Yeah, I'm the Nameless Picker.
Nameless Picker?
Yep.
Okay, I'll subscribe then. I always hear them say, I hear them talk about you and Bearded Picker reference Eric, but some people go by their YouTube name and some go just use their regular.
We couldn't come up with a good YouTube handle, so we ended up with Nameless.
Yeah,
that's how we ended up with it. Nobody would give us a good name, so I don't want to pick my own name. That just seems weird. So.
Let's see.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is getting back. I mean, here's a lot of knives. I mean, just some different stuff.
These knives was like the bottom of the barrel, like rusty and not clean. So that's why I didn't go for a lot. And that's how I sold it. I said, listen, condition is like fair to poor on these. That's a trauma point set. Here's some of those bike parts that we got. I paid what did I pay for that? $20 for the whole box.
$20 for the whole lot, and then I came back. He goes in. He got there. This is an auction. It was a vendor that we buy from. He gets there and he buys all the really good stuff out of the lot and leaves a lot there. And I don't realize that he bought all this stuff. So I walk up and I see all these vintage parts and I buy the rest of the lot. And I gave $10 for the rest of the lot. So it's kind of funny. We both split the same box, and he made money and I made money. So
yeah. Some more bike stuff, some more machinist tools.
Okay, yeah, I found you.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Well, he doesn't have a whole lot of videos, so I wasn't sure. And then
I've been doing, again, I do more videos on other people's channels than I do on my own. And I've got to get doing my own stuff more. So
right. What I do like now tonight, since I'm on Jason's show, I have a creative playlist that says guest appearances on other people's show or something like that. And then, Jason will still get the credit, but if people are interested in what I'm watching and doing, then they click that. Oh, look at that watch.
Yeah, it's neat. Oh yeah, a little Art Deco watch, pretty cool.
I do sell a lot of watches. That's one thing I like to buy.
This was like those car seats. I paid $5 for this. This book I ended up taking an offer of $89, if I remember right. This Larry Elmore is a famous Dungeons and Dragons artist. He did a lot of the module art cover and stuff. I have an actual one of his signed prints up on my wall, framed. Polaroid, machine parts. I'm not going to bore you guys too much with the machine parts, so we'll kind of go a little faster here. This was like a salesman sample of a door lock. I thought that was kind of neat. More machine parts, bicycle.
I think that was it for the gun lot that she sold.
PlayStation game. Play the part. There's some other interesting stuff mixed in though, so let me go down a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff is just, it's interesting because, most of it's small. I mean, when you take a machine and you break it down into small parts, it's amazing how much it's actually worth.
Yeah, this piece was pretty big though, I remember.
Yeah, that was a huge piece, but yeah, I had to test it with you.
Oh yeah. There's a Bunsen burner that hit 50. This pneumatic router hit 100. This vintage turkey call hit 66. Shell resizer. That Star Machine one for $238. That was good.
Yep.
Another press, another black powder. This is a hand knurling tool.
Did you see the question from Jessica?
Oh no,
these parts are all things you're familiar with already, or was this a learning experience also? The gun stuff was a learning experience. The tools Jason's very familiar with.
Yeah, I've been a tool dealer since I was a kid. My father was a tool dealer, so I'm technically second generation.
Mr. Stash is asking, do you guys have followers? Because I'm sure that helps. Meaning, I'm not sure if he means store followers that because you guys sell certain things.
Since I'm a niche seller, I do have a lot of followers on eBay. Yeah, and I do have a lot of repeat customers that I recognize their names.
If I get into a niche, like with my stock certificates, I was selling to 4 or 5 guys primarily. And then the occasional person would come in and buy 1 or 2, but these guys were buying 400 and 500 at a time. So that was a little different for me, but I sell such a wide variety of stuff. I don't really have people that follow me specifically, as far as I know.
Right.
The occasional, come back and buy again type stuff. I think the way you build that type of following, though, is just make sure it meets your expectations. When somebody buys something from you and you meet all their expectations, they're comfortable buying from you. So, and Lil Marvin asked, do you have a base price you start auctions at, Jason?
No, I research every item, except for a lot of the tools. I just have them committed to memory almost, so I don't have to waste too much time. Especially machine parts, I pretty much when I'm buying at like a tool auction or a tool sale, whatever, I will never ever lose money because I pretty much know exactly within $10 of what any single item is, pretty much. So there's not much.
I go by more about what I think I can get out of it but Jason knows. So when I'm buying, because I don't look things up either. I buy things that I think they're interesting and cool, and if I feel I can make money on it, I'll buy it. I don't waste time looking things up. But that's just years of buying and years of auctioning and years of eBay. If I'm in a thrift store or something like that, and I want to look up like a clothing item or something like that, I would look it up. But the stuff I sell is just I buy in such big lots, I don't really care. I bought movie posters. I spent $250 for movie posters, and it was like 300 movie posters. How can you go wrong with a buy like that?
Right.
And I took me forever to get them listed. I had to figure out how to get them up and listed and make them look good. But once I got them listed, I made almost $3,000 in the first 2 months I had them up. And I don't even have them all up. I still got about 75 to still list.
Right.
So that's kind of why, that's one of the things that as any eBay seller should be on the lookout for, is you make most of your money when you buy. If you buy it right, you're not going to lose money.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff for me is bulk buying on these tools. I'm usually not at like me and you did that flea market, Pat, the other day. That's usually not my buying MO.
Right. I remember you actually saying that to Scott. And it was more of a hangout. And I don't think I spent more than $10 at the flea market because, we were there and we knew that we were going to go to the surplus store. So, you could walk around 3 or 4 hours. And then some things, to be honest, are overpriced. I like vintage toy boxes, and I saw one guy had one roached out, and I asked him how much. And I'll be honest, I thought he was going to say like $10, and I would maybe offer him 6 or 7. And he wanted 20 right off the bat. I said, "Oh, okay, I'll let you know if I'm interested."
Right. I'm sorry, I didn't miss that question by Lil Marvin. My back room is pretty organized, but a tad messy right now. But right, Eric, for the most part, it's pretty organized.
The problem is right now he's waiting there's another section of the back room, and once he has that, then he can get a dumpster. It's hard to get rid of trash where Jason's at right now because he doesn't have a dumpster with his warehouse. So he ends up with a lot of cardboard left over. that's kind of the nature of the beast. You end up with cardboard or totes and things like that. And you just can't get rid of them. I just put out a ton of trash out of my garage today because I can actually do that at my house. I'm not limited by what gets picked up. But yeah, it's hard. That's what causes most of the mess is just your leftover stuff. Now I'm organized in what I have listed, what I have unlisted. It's kind of organized. I do all right. I've got totes and I have bankers boxes and I have everything up on shelves. But then you obviously can see that I'm a little bit out of sorts right now with what I have right around me.
Yeah, when you're talking about the plastic totes.
I use, if you go to Home Depot or Walmart, the black heavy duty HDX totes, the 27-gallon ones.
Right.
Those are the only totes that I use to store stuff in. Any other totes I get, I end up either giving away at my live auction or I throw them out.
Yeah.
Because the HDX totes are the only ones that are worth buying.
I got to get some more because I when I first started out, I was putting stuff in cardboard, but even in the attic, the weather was kind of changing and they just flimsy.
Yeah. Now my listed inventory goes into bankers boxes, and because those are easy, and I have shelving that I bought. It's similar to this, but actually bigger.
Right.
Wire shelving back here. I get it at Home Depot, pay $100 a shelf, but I can get 24 boxes on one shelf, and I have. In my listed inventory room, I've got 3 of those, and I've got 3 big black shelves that actually I put things that don't fit into bankers boxes onto it. And then in my unlisted inventory, I have 5 of those shelves that has stuff in bankers boxes, and then also my shipping stuff. But like right next to my desk, I have 10 totes stacked up.
Hey, Jason, I saw that you had a bunch of Boy Scout books there. Those are nice.
Yeah, those actually didn't do so well though.
Yeah, would you get like $20 or something?
I forget what it was, but
something like that.
Yeah. No more than 20, probably even less. Yeah, I bought a bunch of Boy Scout stuff, just didn't really pan out, but I guess it wasn't old enough.
Yeah.
That was an extra thing I got in the box slot.
Well, Marvin asked if we have any regret buys. Jake probably has at least one.
No, I get them from time to time. It's just not often. You know, a lot of times I'm buying in such bulk. See, I always go by the principle of buying in bulk so that even if you do make a mistake, it divides out over so many items that it really doesn't affect anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's it's the same way when you make your profit too. If you buy in large enough quantity and you get, like I bought all this paper goods and there's like 400 items there. Probably more than that, but by the time I get it all together, it'll be maybe 400 listings, and one item is going to pay for that entire box. So even if I don't get what I think I'm going to get out of everything, there's nothing to regret there because it's just going to pay for itself down the road. If I get $5 a piece for everything, that'd be a $2,000 win for $40.
Right.
But I think I'm going to get more than that. I think I'm going to get about $10 a piece. I'm planning on getting over time about $4,000 out of that lot. That's kind of why when I did the video yesterday, I was recommending. I said, make sure you look for those type of buys, even if you're not in a mood to buy anything. Because Jason and I, we shop every single day. We do it a lot from our computer because we do a lot of online, auctions and.
Oh, you guys do? Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, we shop every single day, but we don't necessarily have to leave the house. That's the beautiful thing about it. Whereas if you were a typical clothing seller or you don't have the online opportunities that perhaps I do or that Jason does. It's hard. I mean, that takes such a big part of your day to go out there and hit your normal round of thrift stores. I used to, when I started back on eBay again in 2014, I was doing thrift stores. I was doing clothing and start at 8 o'clock in the morning. And by the time I hit 10 or 15 thrift stores, it'd be 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
And so half your day's gone just going out and buying, and you're only buying a piece here or a piece there. And then suddenly the online auctions start picking back up. And I'm like, I can buy everything from my house, pay for it. And I just got to go out and make a half-hour run to pick it all up.
Right. That's sort of the route I want to go because there's only so much time in a day. And when you're traveling across 50 miles, 4 or 5 thrift stores, and some of the, you're not getting nothing. And do you guys, I don't think probably sell clothes though anymore, right?
I still do hats. I still do baseball hats because I can buy them so cheap. I usually get lots of baseball hats. I probably have 500 hats to list.
Yeah.
Because I can get them in lots of 40 or 50 and I pay, $10 or $20 for them. So I sell a hat or two and the whole thing's paid for, but they take time to list. But I don't do much clothing. I'll still do the occasion if I get a nice jacket, like a nice motorcycle jacket or a high. I mean, I sold a biggie Levi's jacket from the 50s for like $300. I mean, I'll buy the occasional piece that I know is worth doing my time on.
Right.
I have stuff left over that I had listed a long time ago. I haven't unlisted it is all.
Yeah.
Eric, this was actually funny. Remember these? I bought these at an auction for Eric was with me. It was like I bought these for like $10, and they were so rusted up that no one wanted to deal with them. And I cleaned these up within like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, because they're tiny. I mean, they're not big.
Those were for a watchmaker's lathe.
But yeah, so if you buy that way, if you maximize your time, because I mean this is a time business as well. If you can sit around and you can go out, you hit your thrift stores. I mean, you just watch any of Scott's videos where he's out on the road. I mean, how much time it takes to go out and go hit all these stores now. And Scott's a pro at it, and it takes him hours to do this type of stuff.
Right, and then sometimes he goes to a store and he strikes out because
but you still gotta do the legwork and everything.
Right.
So you just got to be careful with it. I mean, Kids Deals and More. I mean, I know she is a monster clothing seller and does really, really well. But it's a lot of effort into it, and that's one of the things that I realize that I can sell shirts and jeans and stuff like that for $10 to $20 all day long. Anybody can do that part of the job. It's a longer tail item; it takes longer to sell. Or I can buy in just big quantities and sell things I really enjoy selling, and kind of still do my stuff, but it takes me no time to list this stuff. I can list all these tomorrow. This stack right here, there's 50 or 60 items. I can list them tomorrow and probably be done in about 2 hours.
I just want to say, last time I did RA, Amazon was still selling books.
Yeah, I don't do RA at all, and I don't want to. It's not. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually a very profitable business. I just don't want to do it. And that's me. That's not what I want to sell. I like selling old stuff. And I've done the RA before. I've gone out there. I mean, when right before Scott was, I was actually in the hangout with Scott when he decided to go out and do the Monopoly game. Jason was the one that had told Scott about the Monopoly game being.
Yeah, he said that. He did say that.
It was featured on in some
on the down low, actually.
Yahoo News, wasn't it, Jason?
Yeah, I really didn't want to mention that.
No, it's no big deal. I mean, but we were all in a hangout together when we started talking about it, and we started trying to do a little research on it. But that was a group thing, and then but Scott, being Scott, ran with it, and I'm like, and he was out that night.
He just talked about this on a live YouTube feed the other day, because he's telling people he got lucky, and because sometimes people will come in and criticize. You bought the Monopoly game, and and then people got stuck with it and this and that. And he said, because sometimes people will get mad if he doesn't mention some of the products, and he's saying that's not what I'm trying to teach you. Is go out to the stores and find, and that's what he's taught me, that there are things out there that even though I can't sell that he sells, that I can find things to sell. I mean, right now I'm only selling about $1,000, $1,200 a month on Amazon. And part of that is because I'm so new on Amazon since January. I'm not approved in a lot of things yet. I'm hoping as I sell more and more. But, being on his show, like Sue mentioned a store, and she mentioned a product, not on air. And I went there, and it wasn't there. But guess what? I found something that was there, and I bought all 20 of them. And I've already sold 10 of them in the first week.
Yeah, I mean, what Scott's trying to teach is find your own stuff. Don't talk about it.
Right.
Be the master of that item. The Millennial Monopoly thing was just like, holy crap. And he made a video and it just kind of blew up and went viral. There was no planning on any of that stuff.
Right.
Okay. And I went out because I was like, I can sell that stuff. So I went out and I was going to grab some, and somebody had already beat me to that in my town. They'd already cleaned out the Millennial Monopoly.
I saw that game in Walmart, no lie, 3 weeks before that. And I'm like, I didn't know it was going to be a hit, because about 5 years ago, I stumbled across Minecraft Legos.
Oh, yeah.
I was flipping them between Amazon and Walmart and bookstores. I had my just doing it part time. I had sold between like October and December like $14,000, and probably $4,000 or $5,000 of it was just from Minecraft. I was buying the stuff for 20 and listing it for 30, and it was selling in 5 or 10 minutes. So then I started. I'm like, why am I giving away for 30? The price is going for 40, 45.
Mm-hmm.
We had taken a Disney vacation that year, and because I still had some listings, we had to stop in Celebration at the post office because we had to find down there in Florida a couple of those items, to keep the customer happy.
Yep. I mean, but that's the one that's what you got to do. You got to get out there and find your own thing. I don't like to sell on Amazon. Could I? Yeah. Could I go out there and do the RA and hit the road? I mean, I'm a little limited by my family situation, but I could. I just don't want to. That's not what I like to sell. I like the old stuff. I like the history behind it. I like looking at old photos and kind of
right.
old cars and the old outfits that people wore and what's going on and stuff.
Well, and what you're doing lends well with people who like myself that still want to do YouTube, because you could tell a story about the stuff and then get people interested. And like tonight, there's people that are watching, and like even myself, learning. Like I would have never thought that some of this stuff would, people, oh, that's a box of junk. Well, you guys proved wrong.
Yeah, I love boxes of junk. Boxes of junk are the best.
Right.
The key is that there's value in almost everything. It's whether or not there's enough value in it. And sometimes there is, and sometimes there isn't. There's a lot of times there's, you look at stuff like, boy, that's really cool, but nobody wants it. I had some, I remember these two. I bought two of these things. These were actual satellite setup receivers that CNN reporters would use over in Desert Storm. So this was like 91, 92. I bought two of these things from an old CNN reporter.
Uh-huh.
There's no value in that. I bought them. I only paid $5 a piece. I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool. And I had them on eBay forever.
Right.
Could not give them away because it's so old tech that nobody wanted them. And they had CNN London's phone number in there, and CNN Saudi Arabia CNN. I mean, because it's where these guys. It was a camera. It had a camera built in and a cellular connection, a satellite connection. I mean, and it was all set up so you could actually do these field reporting. I'm like, oh, this is a really cool item. And there's one in a museum or something like that, but nobody wants it.
Right.
I ended up selling them at a live auction. I got like $20 for both of them. So I mean, I didn't lose money on them, but I thought I was going to make good money.
I guess the only person maybe would have been interested in that is like a traveling journalist that travels overseas and
but they're old tech. I mean, because I bought them in 2015 and they were 1990 tech, and your average cell phone had cameras and all that stuff at this point in it. So
right, yeah.
I just wrote it. I wasn't sure I should continue, but people are watching, so.
Well, I can scroll my little low dollar stuff if you'd like. I mean, make you feel better.
Well, let me finish. I think I'm almost done, actually.
Okay.
Because to be honest, I forget a lot of this stuff. Now we're I think on some of these now we're at the 3rd month mark, so I kind of forget. You sell so much stuff that you tend to forget after a while.
Yeah, I mean, I sell every 90 days. I can pull mine up. Oh, I can't see it on the screen here. I sell between 500 and 600 items every 90 days. So somewhere between 150 and 200 items every 30.
You see these two right here? These were earlier. Remember I said I sold some kits that were like $100 to make parts. These are the actual completed kits. This is after someone took and spent hours machining these, and increased the value a lot. I'm sorry, continue, Eric.
Well, this is all stuff we got at the auction, right?
Some of this, yeah. Like I remember this piece. This was in like a $10 box lot. No one wanted it. I was like, I knew exactly what it was. Like, okay.
And again, what you don't see is there is a lot of prep work for this type of stuff that Jason's got here.
Yeah,
a lot of cleaning and things like that goes into this.
If you notice, one thing that I do is I clean everything. Like, believe me, this wasn't bright and shiny when I got it. It was probably rusty, more than like I don't remember the specific one, but most stuff is pretty rusty. I actually clean all this stuff, and what else?
So Jason, you have a little setup in your warehouse, like an area where you do all that?
Yeah, I have a lathe set up with a few different wire wheels and stuff, and but there's a certain trick to it. Like I use a wire wheel, but I use a very fine one so it doesn't leave marks in the metal, so you don't know I was there cleaning it. It still looks like factory fresh for the most part. And if you notice, I'm very I guess I'll say the word anal about my opening shot. If you notice, everything's very uniform with the backgrounds, and everything looks very clean and neat.
Everything looks new.
I think I'm done now, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a snapshot of what, the stuff we've been showing in the haul videos. That if you look at Jason's channel, go back, he's got the last few months for the haul videos. There's most of what he sold out of it. So I think that's important, is that, you do a haul video, show people that you're selling the stuff you bought. Because I think there's way too many people that do haul videos and you never see the stuff get sold.
I can tell you that all this, it looked like a lot of, it was a lot of stuff, 715 items. In the past 90 days, I just hit $50,000 in total sales. So that's everything you saw. So how do I get out of this now?
Now you stop sharing. Don't hit the live button, but
just hit the stop share. Wait.
Yeah, there should be a down at the bottom, I think is where it's at.
The bottom of which? Oh,
of your main screen.
All right, I'm back. So I can close out of that. I can open this. All right.
How if I put mine up?
Hey guys, I'm gonna get going for the night.
Okay.
Jason, shoot me a message with your number, and we'll coordinate something with those cards and to come down and stuff. Because I don't want you to have stuff in the way, and
Yeah, no problem. The cards I have to check to make sure he still has them.
Yeah, no problem.
And I don't know if I'm going to be back there because that's like a relative that lives kind of far away. It might be a couple months before I get down there.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I just didn't want you sitting on something and like Pat said he wanted it, and it's been here for 2 years and he never came down.
Yeah, he's still holding stuff for me that's probably been sitting there for a year. I mean, we trade stuff back and forth all the time. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I want to coordinate something. Like I said, to come down and see the warehouse and keep learning.
Yeah, in the next couple of weeks we'll do something. I think the next 2 weeks I'm kind of tied up, but after that I should be good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, what we'll do is when we all get, because I'll be back up to see him here in a month or two as well, and we'll all get together or something then.
Yeah, great. That sounds great. I appreciate you guys letting me come in the room tonight, and I'm hoping to meet up with you guys again, and I enjoyed it.
All right, cool.
Awesome, Pat.
Yep. Have a great night.
All right, see you later.
Bye-bye.
All right, so we've got my stuff up now, and obviously my dollars aren't near what Jason's are, because I do more smaller dollar stuff than he does, but do enough quantity. This is stuff I bought all this stuff at an auction. This stuff, and it works fantastic, but nobody wants to buy it. I've actually sold like 2 or 3 of these things. I ended up with a case of them, but I paid like $1 for the entire case. But I actually used some of the in my house because I've got cats and dogs and everything, and it works great. Kind of fun. This hairdressing kit I got at the tool auction, actually. This was from a vendor. It was in a box, and this is 1940s, and it's all new and still fresh and kind of gross, actually. But I got like 40 of these, 25 to 40, somewhere in that range. But I get like $12 a piece for them, and I get rave reviews on these things, like, oh wow, love this stuff, it's great. I had like 12 of these I bought, and these are just color test things. This is a laser disc. There's a postcard for Evidence, Missouri, belt buckle. I love pennants. They do really well. I ship pennants in a box. I don't fold them. I roll them. So that's one thing. You don't have to ship it flat and in the huge strangled box. You can just roll it up and then put it in. I use this one went in an 864 box. The bigger ones will have to go to like a 1266 box. This is a gold bond certificate from 1874. This is part of my stock certificate buys. And I got 40 or 45 of these, and I've sold about 15 or 20 of them. This is one of the manuals I bought that Jason bought for me that we showed in one of the haul videos of his. I think I took an offer of 20 or 25 on that one. This is a buy from a year and a half ago from when they shut down all the technical schools. When they went through that whole shut down the for-profit colleges, there was a beauty school that went out, and I bought a lot of stuff from them.
Little Marvin had a question, Eric.
What was that?
Why $4.95 and not $4.99? I guess he was talking about one of the items up. I think it's because you mark down by percentages, right? So the numbers.
I do. Sometimes you get some crazy figures for mine because I'll take a % off or I do % off. If you're talking about my shipping charge, that's just $4.95 shipping is what I charge for first class.
Oh, the shipping. Okay.
Yeah. Now the stock certificates I don't charge as much because it just goes into a stay flat envelope, and I can ship these for typically they're 6 ounces, so they ship for. I think the most I'm going to pay is like $3.20 for them. So that's why I have those at $3.50. But they have those also as a, I think I get like $20 if I ship it overseas. And a lot of the stuff is on sale as well. So it started out at a certain price, and now it's on sale price. So I don't think you're seeing the sale price in here, or all these are best offer too. Yeah, this is 1088 because it was marked down by 1% or something like that. I sold that one for like $12. So you're seeing a lot of stock certificates. I mean, this is kind of crazy how this went through. This is a Kroger's hat. The only reason I'm selling that it's like $6.99 on sale, but I got like 95 of these things. Jason taught me about some Unimet. This is lathe parts here, so he's been convincing me to get into that side of the business as well, and has been very profitable. A little tiny handle is first class. It's only about 3 inches long, $40. I've got like 40 of these Florida Gators hats. There's another lathe part. This is a manual, some pool chalk. There's a woodworking plane. That was just a little leftover lot of lathe stuff. There's a yearbook I got. I think I took an offer in this yearbook for $15 or $20. See, Jason, don't throw them away. This is a vintage poster. This is a 1987 Porsche poster. I got $55 for. Some more lathe tooling. Here's another manual. You see a lot of manuals, little stuff, lathe parts. That's a restaurant menu. And that menu was literally only about 6 inches tall. I bought a lot of menus at a church sale 2 years ago, and I paid $15 for it, and I've probably made about $1,200 off of it, and I still have about 15 left. Here's another poster. I got 6 of these posters. I sold one for $40. Some Dyson parts, lathe parts, a lot of lathe parts. There's a record needle. So, I mean, we talk about the record needles. There's one. I actually have it like 50 cents on each on any of these. Good night, Don. Again, lathe parts. There's a antique photo, $20. This is one of what they call a yard-long photo. You see these all the time. And the key with these is where it was at, and if you can identify at least the area, that'll actually help you sell it. But a lot of times you can actually tell the church that it went to, and people love these things. You get $15 to $20 for all of them. So if you can usually buy these in big lots because people, for some reason, these yard longs always end up in a big bunch of them. There's a John Deere manual. This is an old 1940s keepsake. I mean, look at the condition of this thing. It's in terrible condition. I mean, you can't hardly tell it's a baby book, but you open it up, the pages are nice, but I got $12 for it. There's some lathe parts. Here's another part of that record needle lot. I got $16 for this. This is a cartridge baseball hat. I bought 100 of these radios. I paid $16 for 100 of them, and I sell them $5.88. I don't take offers on these. It doesn't have offers on it, but I get a little bit more than $10 shipping. That cost me like $3 to ship. And I just sold a lot of them to a guy. I sold 35, or no, I sold 50 of them to one guy. I gave him a little bit better deal because he bought 50 of them. Little Halloween decoration, sales brochure, Radio Shack game, little voltmeter. Here's a Corvette manual. Another Kroger's hat. This is cool. I paid $6 for 3 of these, and I sold one for $87. These look familiar, Jason?
Oh, hold on. I'm watching. I was watching something else.
John Deere manuals do really well. That you don't get a lot of money for them, but you get decent money for them.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then
that was that bulk buy that I
sold. Jason sold me. He bought them from that surplus place we were talking about earlier, Kimner's, and he bought them and didn't feel like listing them, and I bought them. And there's like 300 of them, and I've been selling these for over a year now, and I get $10 a piece for them. Little Marvin asked if we would mess with the radio tubes. I do not, because there's so many of them out there. I don't think there's a lot of value in them.
Yeah, not my thing either.
I got $86. This actually went overseas, and I got great feedback. This is it's an adding machine. It's a bit of a beast to ship, but it went global shipping, and for me, global shipping is one state away, so it doesn't cost me anything. That thing, I think I shipped it for like $8, but it weighed like 15 pounds. Again, lathe parts. I've got like 40 of these manuals. These are Harley Davidson manuals, so I get $7 a piece for them. This is a couple of little Gundam posters, anime stuff. I didn't even know anything about that, but I got this all at an estate sale. I was walking into the estate sale and walking around, and there wasn't really anything I could find. I go to the guy's desk, and he just had all this stuff from different conventions he went to, and they were all just posters and little things. There's a big stack of posters, and I bought a big stack of gaming stuff where he created a game, and I paid $30 for everything, and I sold this stuff. He created the game stuff for like $150 right off the bat, and then I just sell these little posters for $10 a piece. Pocket knife. There's another postcard, and again, key with the postcards. This is a real photo postcard, so that's the first thing, and then Eminence, Missouri. They want to know where these postcards. People who buy postcards, especially collectors, love having a location that's not your average everyday location. It's not the Eiffel Tower, or it's not Niagara Falls. It's the slice of life type stuff is what really does best. Another record needle, $20. This is another yard long photo. It's actually got some antique tractors in it. CDs, I bought about 250 promo CDs, and I think I charged $5.99 before they go on sale, but I get $3.50 shipping for each one, and they ship in a little stay flat. There's a couple of manuals, another Unimat piece. Dennis and Menace, that one went overseas. They actually paid like $18 to ship that. Little candle holder. There's a little greeting card. Another lathe part. There's another needle. I got $30 for that one. And actually, he bought two. I had two of these. He bought them both, so he paid $60-some. There's another one of those manuals. Crazy manuals. These are little things, but they ship so easily. There's another postcard. And I got all these postcards, and I paid $100 for all of these, and I got like 150 real photo postcards from Missouri. And I was able to list them in a day. That was a good deal there. These are weird. They were like church postcards for like, hey, we haven't seen you for a while. Come back to church. And so I just put them in a lot because I didn't think they'd be worth anything, and I got $15 out of them. There's a set of Corvette manuals. Here's some of those World War II photos that I showed on my video. So I'm getting like $26 a piece. I actually get like $20 a piece is what I'm selling them for. And so, they are, and I only paid, I didn't even pay $10 a piece for them. So that was one of the cartridges I got. And Avon, you can still sell Avon occasionally. There's real photo postcards. Again, there's another photograph. You see a common theme. You've seen a lot of the same stuff where I bought in bulk, and you're just seeing that stuff show up. There's another hat. That's part of that whole Kroger's, Florida Gators. I bought like 600 hats all at once. Eric, do you mess with FDC? What's that? I might, because I don't know. There's a pocket microscope. This microscope's only about 6 inches long and it folds up into a little case. I don't remember I took the offer on that one. Patch. I sold a bunch of these patches. Yeah, another postcard. Some more lathe parts. There's a TI-99 game cartridge. That I had that in my store forever. Just a statue. There's another one of these. Now I sell a lot of pool balls. I came into a collection of pool balls. I mean, this is number 74. I'm sorry. In Ohio, it's Kroger's. Everybody calls it Kroger's. Mother's Mustache.
I've never heard of it myself.
It's a national chain. I mean, it's Kroger's is out where you're at, but they do Martin's. There's a bunch of different grocery stores under the Kroger's flags.
Oh, okay.
Another pennant, some tools. Here's some press photos. I have a place where I get a lot of these type of press photos, and I usually pay $2 or $3 for a set, and so $27, $28. There's another one of the CDs. There's another lens that I bought that again was part of that lot for $6 that I sold for $100. Some books. This is some medical equipment I bought. A bunch of antique medical stuff. Oh, first aid covers. I don't really mess with them that much because they're not really that valuable. Here's some Timex watches. See, I still sell clothing. Sweater. There's a movie poster. Yeah, and if you look at, there's a common theme. There's a lot of the stuff that I sell is really, really small and really easy to ship. Then you get a piece like this, but this was really kind of a cool piece. But look at the value I get. If it's going to be a big and a pain in the butt, I'm going to get a lot of money for it. Otherwise, why am I going to mess with it? But when it's something like a motorcycle manual that's half an inch thick, I can ship it and slap it into a stay flat mailer. I don't care if I get $11 for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Stuff. I showed the video. I bought this at that. This is that printing press. I paid $100 for this at a flea market. And this is kind of a good example why I don't really do a lot of flea markets. I paid $100. I got $210 plus 30. I got $200 is what I took the offer on, I think. So I got like $30. So I got $230 for it. But really, it's a pain to ship. It went all the way across the country. It's cast iron. You always have to worry about it breaking. It's not really worth it, the amount of effort that goes into it to make $100. It's nice. It flipped really quick. But that $100, I could have bought a whole lot more stuff. And yeah, it would have been like a lot of $10 stuff, but it would have gone a long way. There's poker chip sets. The guy paid full price for both of these, shipped in one package.
Wait. What is that?
Those are poker chips.
Oh, it looks like little plastic balls.
Yeah, it's kind of funny the way it looks, but you're showing the edge detail of the poker chip.
Oh, I kind of see it now. Okay.
Got a unicorn on it. It took me forever to figure out the mold. Poker chips, vintage poker chips, these are brand new. They're still sealed. There's 2 sets of them. There's a lot of collectors interested in whether it's a first mold or it's been second molded. I mean, it's rather interesting. Sold this. Guy unfortunately never did pay for it, so it's back up. I took an offer and he just never paid for it. But this is an overseas buyer. You get a lot of this stuff with overseas guys, but I'll sell it again. Want to get one of the photos. There's another hat. This is a fairly rare book. I got $75 for it. I bought these at the auction a year ago with Jason, and they were in a box lot. And I kid you not,
God, I remember those.
I paid $5 for this box lot, and there's like 150 of these in there. And there's some Mariah Carey things very similar to this. I have made over $600 in just these little sticker things. It's crazy. This is like little ink press stamp. Some more laser. There's that hit and miss pump I bought at the auction. Some Kodak manuals. There's some more of those World War II photos. Every now and then, I got this actually at Kimner's, so I mean, this is a piece I bought just because I was kind of bored. Teaching props. This is kind of what I like to specialize in, is these brochures. Some Radio Shack. This was a brand new in the box Radio Shack piece. There's another Kroger hat.
Eric, someone is disturbing you with a question.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I haven't really changed. I don't do the relisting, ABC or reselling. With the good tool camps, I'm kind of writing it out, seeing how it's going. My sales have not really gone down that much. I am doing a little bit of relisting and things like that, just to kind of keep things fresh. But I've been doing a lot more just concentrating on my own listing. So I've been listing pretty much every day, and I think that's kept me up. So I think that's more because my store, I used to keep 1,400 items in my store. I'm over 2,000 now. So it's actually helping me because it's actually getting me to list. This is actually a signed baseball hat. It took me forever to figure out the dude's name, but he was a Yankee. So he wasn't a Yankee at this point, but so I got $17 for it. This was a mistake buy. I ended up buying these by accident, and I paid like $5 a piece for them. I got like 3 of these Perini things. So I was just happy to be out of them. Again, magazines. I don't mind back magazines. This is all lathe parts here.
It's so funny. You get to the lathe parts and you just skip.
Yeah, I'm not interested in it. This is the Mariah Carey promo cards. Again, I get $6, and I had like 200 of these things. There's another box. This is a little computer. $160 for that. And that's like a little Heathkit computer. Patches, belt. There's another belt buckle. I got to ship one of these out tomorrow. I ended up finding another one. Harley Davidson magazine parts. That's a little screwdriver for a Eureka vacuum. It's like literally 2 inches long. I actually bought these from Dusty. These concert tickets. I bought like 60 concert tickets from him, and he didn't want to list them for some reason. And I got my money. I paid $100 for all 60 of them, and I made $110 in the first 4 hours of listing them, and I've been selling them since. So I've made, I don't know, $400 or $500 off of them. I sold all of these. This is one purchase. This is actually a purchase of 35 bags of these, and I gave them to him for $3.50 a bag. Lego instructions. If you don't have the Lego kits, but you can find the instructions, you can actually sell that. Scirocco stuff still does sell. I bought all of these. These are starter model kits. They actually goes on the end of the starter that kicks the starter in for Model A's and Model T's. And I bought a bucket full of these at the auction. I paid $5 for the bucket, and I've sold, I don't know, 8 or 10 of these, and I get about $20 a piece for them. This is a buy I bought where I literally had 500 pieces of jewelry, and it's all Avon. It's all worth $5. $5 to $10 a piece as an individual. So I thought, you know what? I don't want to deal with that because they'd have to take it out of the box, take a picture, put it back in the box. It was just a pain in the butt. So I just put it up as lots. At $175 for that lot, $305 for that lot, $129 for that lot. There's another lot that comes up. There's another billiard ball.
It's so funny, but I thought those Avon stuff was worth like very little.
I did too, and it turned out when you do it in big enough lots, it actually was really good. And the person I was buying from sells it by the piece, so they were going to make money on it too. I didn't mind being the middleman because I paid $80 for all that Avon jewelry.
I'm with Lil Marvin on this one. I was like, what?
That's weird. Why did it kick back? Okay, we're back there. I bought like a box of these books. These are all different World War II books. And I got like $25 to $30 for 15 or 20 books in that box. I was getting that much for each one. There's another one of those starters. Okay, we started over for some reason. 305. So 130, 210, 175, 305, and 129. And then I had another guy came in and bought a bunch of billiard balls. I got $700. I got one bid. I had to list this twice. This went overseas. Went to Japan, I think, for this piece. So I got $700 for that. I did pay up on this. I think I paid $4, but I broke a couple pieces out of that. Some planes I actually did pretty well in. I've got like, I sell these in quantity of 2, and I paid $5 for about 200 of them. So they do sell. This is another part of that hat lot. Some more of those. There's the digitizer. This is a Radio Shack piece, brand new, $250 is what I got. I sold this piece for $2,550 and ran into a world of problems with this piece. It wasn't the guy's fault. He was overseas. He wanted to pay for it. Japan would not let him buy something that was over $2,500 on eBay. It's one of the rules.
I thought the threshold was 2,000.
It's 25.
It was 25. It had to be 2550.
25. It had to be 2,500 or less. It took us a week to finally figure that out. I ended up calling eBay 4 different times. The guy was calling eBay in Japan. We're talking back and forth. He's like, I want to give you the money. And I'm like, I want to take your money, but we couldn't figure out how to get the deal done because it was going to go global shipping. And the reason it went global shipping, and a lot of people talk about global shipping being terrible, and it's it's so bad to the customer. If I shipped this piece myself to him, it was going to cost me $900. Global shipping, he paid $300 for it. So there are times when global shipping will kick in. We did work it out. You'll see it down here a little bit later. What I did was I canceled this sale and we relisted it for $2,499. And he bought it right away and paid me right away. I lost $50 on the deal, but it was worth me getting the $54 or $50 just to be done with it and complete the sale. And I charged him $54 shipping that I got, and it only cost me like $20 to get it to global shipping. I made my money back up on some shipping. And
I have one of those.
Yeah, Jason's got one of these sitting in his back room.
That's the computer that was on the movie War Games.
Yeah, and actually I have a cutout on the War Games showing it in a screen capture of it on top of that computer. I actually put it in the auction. The real pain in the butt with this was taking photos because the photos sucked. I'll be the first to admit these are some of the worst photos I took because the thing was so dang shiny. I got reflections everywhere I did it. Hey, Peddling Profits.
Hey, what's up, Peddling? Hey, Eric, you might as well answer that question from Jesse. I've had a little too much wine tonight, so I don't want to.
Online auction questions. Are there any auctioneer houses that someone new to it should stay away from due to bad experiences you've had in your opinions? Mine are local, so you learn how good they are. It's just kind of experience. I will say that there's a lot more risk with an online auction because you're not getting a chance to actually touch the item. You know, a lot of times when I buy, ephemera, I'm always worried that I'm going to get musty crap. Good online auctioneers will give you a great description. There's one online auction company I deal with. It's a national company that offers a money back guarantee. So those are the good ones. Your local ones, though, you're going to have to just kind of buy and learn. And the best thing to do is don't complain. If you get a bad buy, just write it off, and you learn. Okay, I can't really trust their descriptions, but that doesn't mean I don't buy from them. I got a couple guys I don't buy from that much, mainly because they're jackasses, and I don't like them, so I'm not going to give them my business. But if they got a great item, I'm still going to go buy it. But for the most part, I don't buy from them because I just don't like them.
The only problem I've ever had was not online, but live industrial auctions.
You had problems when you bought that on that. Jason had a lot of problems with his online auction that he bought this computer at.
Oh, I forgot. Well, yeah.
Yeah, here's the problem. When you buy something in online auction, you can only go by the picture and the description. Pay attention to both. The description will win out over the picture anytime because a lot of times these guys are taking photos in houses and stuff. So sometimes something's going to get in the picture that's not going to be in your lot. So always pay attention to the description. Sometimes you'll get a lot more than you thought of. A great example is if you go back to Dusty's latest video, he talks about where he thought he was buying a 4-foot section and ended up getting like 20 feet a section of stuff. That's a win. Jason had a situation where he bought some computers. He bought a lot of computer stuff, and he goes up to get it out, and they had taken a piece out. And then they wanted to argue with him, like, we'll take the price off. We'll take 1/5 of the price off. And he's like, but I wanted that piece. And you really had to get to be kind of a jerk with them about it.
Yeah, I spent like a couple of $1,000s. I was like, listen, I'll just do a chargeback if it's going to be a problem. And that changed everything.
Yeah, it's amazing when you say, I'll just walk away from it all. I don't mind. Where did I find that computer? I actually went to a specialized computer auction for that. I paid too much for it. And it's not that I paid too much for that. I paid too much for the whole auction. I should have been a little bit better off. I made money on the auction, but I didn't make what I spent $4,000 at that auction. If I had spent $4,000 buying the stuff I normally buy, I probably would have made $20,000. I ended up making about $2,000 at that auction. It was fun though. It was different. I'd never really gotten into that side of the business, buying that big before. But it sold quickly. I will give it that. These are different stock certificates. These are canal certificates.
Oh, wait. One thing, Eric, I want to touch on. As I was saying before, the only other issue, I forgot about the one Eric mentioned, but was industrial auctions live. It's very easy to find yourself bidding against the Coke machine with some engineers. So you really have to be careful with that.
Live auctions, you're going to find more stuff like that than anything. You're going to find, and the reason they do that is they know the value of some things. And so if you pay attention to a live auctioneer, the way they're talking, you can tell when they're just bidding it up. And you can always drop out. If you're not comfortable with the auctioneer, if you don't trust the auctioneer, get out. And if you want to be a real jerk, call the auctioneer out. And because I've seen guys do that where, the guy's like, hey, I'll give you 10. He's like, and then the auctioneer raises it 15. It goes back to you 20. You go like, who bid 15? And if nobody raises their hand, that auctioneer is immediately embarrassed. We always there was one auction that I used to go to about 5 years ago, and we always said the Coke machine would bid more than anybody else in the auction house. But that's rare.
It is. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean to be fear mongering or anything.
Yeah,
it is good to note your surroundings. Yeah,
if you've never been to a live auction, go to a live auction with the intention of not buying anything. Just to go and figure out how the guy talks. Every auctioneer sings a different way. The patter, how they do things, how fast they'll close. I mean, I have one auction house I go to. I don't go to it too often because it drives me crazy, because literally they'll pick up every item, give me 50. Nobody says a word. How about $2? And that thought process going from 50 to 2 is weird, because most people go, give me 50, 50, how about 30? They'll work their way down and then work their way back up. This person starts at 50 and then goes to $2.
It's interesting, Eric. I almost want to do at a later point, like another short video on experiences with bidding on auctions, because it's an interesting topic. And
Kenneth Green asked, he sent me a message earlier and wants us to do a live or a online auction, how to bid in an online auction. And what we'll do is I'll find an online auction that has stuff that I want to buy in, that's a decent amount. And there's actually a couple coming up. And what I'll do is we'll create a live video or or we'll make a video doing the major screencast-o-matic or something like that, where we'll bidding the auction and talking about the strategy behind it and how we research it. And we can do that even while the auction's going live, so you can see how we're bidding on things. Because there is a strategy to bidding on an online auction that's different than a live auction. So going back, I mean, you're seeing a fairly thing that that was kind of a cool piece of vintage Boy Scout hat. The only reason I got this much money for it is because it had original paint and had all the original stampings and everything on it. So it was really it was in really nice condition. But if you notice, you see a fairly common theme here. You're seeing a lot of the same stuff because I get quantity stuff. I sold 6 of these to the same person for $20 a piece. Some eyeglasses. I mean, a weird book, but I got a lot of medical stuff that I ended up getting. That was those eyeglass, that eyeglass kit that sold for like $250, things like that. There's pennants. These are my old cell phones. I found them in a box. I forgot I had them, so I listed them up and sold them real quick. Antique photography book that showed Akron, Ohio from 1914. I sold these, and I sold like 3 pairs of them, and I think I had Harry Potter in one of them because that's everybody seemed to be listing Harry Potter. I literally have 1,000 of these nut trays. I call them nut trays and ashtrays because I don't know what they are, but they have an Eastern Airline stamp on them. They're little 4 pieces of plastic. They're paper thin. When I ship them in a envelope, they weigh like maybe an ounce. But I get like $7 a piece for them. There's some more glasses, hats again. Yeah, Harry Potter eyeglasses, $12. There's another one of those laser discs. this is, I mean, you see a fairly common theme with, I like small. There's, $32. I'm actually was getting $35 for some of these. There's my Bunsen burner. I got $50 for, Jason.
Oh, okay.
Mining certificate. There's another one of those manuals. The Coke radios. I also bought 100 of these Pepsi radios at the same time. There's a Lionel stock certificates. And the reason these are really cool is you look, they've got a really nice engraving on them. And all these these are from the 60s. I got stock certificates going back to the 1910s, 1890s, things like that, like 1930s. And they all have these really cool engraving on them. And I was selling a lot of these to dealers. I mean, that's a Civil War bond one. And it just went crazy. If you see, in my store, if you see where it's got this wood look background, that means it's been up for about a year. Because I was using that as a background for a little while, and then I switched out back to a white background. And all these ones right here, these were all scanned in. So that's why it looks very crisp, because these were all scanned in. Now these I couldn't scan because they were folded and everything, but hats, stocks. This is when I was doing stocks, and you can just see it went crazy on stock certificates. There's some more nut trays, Harley parts. I bought a bunch of auto show magazines. There's a circus poster. That was not one of the group that I had. I haven't seen the other ones come up yet. As to repair things. There's some inert dummy bombs and stuff. I sold those over a weekend. There's another one. I got $71, $48, $110. I got
remember those.
Adult only. Ooh.
Oh no. No, don't you dare show that picture on my
I would not show those pictures. I had some adult magazines. I bought them off of somebody else and that didn't want to list them, and I thought I paid a very reasonable price for them, and I was actually pretty happy with that. Oh, Sharon. My circus posters that I made the video on, I've sold 5 or 6, and I got 300 for one and 200 for 2 others, and I've been selling the rest for about 100 a quarter. So, I mean, I more than made up my money. Another Score magazine. You can look up my store. I don't care. There's my store name. Actually, you can't see that because I already stopped screen sharing. Oh, well. Go back and look at the video. But it's, I don't care. Let's see. I got to go back and look where we're at. Yeah, we'll do the auction video. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, between that and I'd also touch base on live auctions too. I have a lot of interesting techniques that I could share.
Live auctions. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing live auctions longer than I was a reseller. I've been doing auctions since I was 20 years old. So back in the 80s. That's how I outfitted my first house, was buying
70s.
I wasn't 20. I was 14 in 1980. So,
teasing you, man.
But that's how I furnished my first house, with going to auctions and buying furniture. But yeah, there's definitely, everybody has their own techniques. Jason's is a little different than mine. Jason likes to bully at an auction.
Oh, I love pushing people around.
Jason likes to push people around. I like to be subtle. I don't mind pushing if I really know the value's there, but I like to kind of sit back and just sneak my bids in and just outlast people. Whereas, Jason, he just powers through people. I mean, runs them over. And both techniques work. A lot depends on what you're buying. Like, we were at the video game auction. I mean, he was just steamrolling people, and he was pissing people off. But it worked, because in the end, people stopped bidding.
There's a time to do it, and there's a time not to do it too, though. Yeah. You really got to know the crowd.
Well, you got to know the crowd. You got to know who you're bidding against, because if you bully the wrong person and they got deeper pockets than you, everybody's always worried about getting something dropped on them where they ran the value out of it. So if you never bid more than you're comfortable buying, you're always going to be fine. But if you sit there and get mad and I'm going to bid that guy up, that guy might drop it on you, and you've just spent all your money trying to teach somebody a lesson. And he may have been, hey, if I win it, I win it. I can deal with it.
Dude, it's so funny. I remember that video game auction. I remember hearing someone in the background talking. They were saying, is that guy ever going to run out of money?
Nope. Well, that was where, I mean, we walked in with an expectation of spending, what, about 10 grand? And well, we were hoping to spend about 10 grand, but the budget was, I think you had like 45 set aside.
Yeah.
Would have accessed.
I had at least 40. I remember that. So, I mean, you just never know. I mean, I don't like to go to auctions, I mean, or really any sales with, you know, probably a minimum of like 5 grand, just because, like I said, I like to buy it in bulk. So
for me, I work on a different, I mean, Jason, the stuff he buys is more expensive, but and if you look at our sales, I mean, he gets more money for the stuff he buys because he spent more money to buy it.
Yeah, tools are a lot more pricey.
Yeah, so I mean, the cost of entry for him is more, but he also gets more money out of it. So Jason likes to have 5,000. I'm really comfortable if I've got 500 to go to an auction, but I have more. I just want to have. I'll go to an auction. I'll set a budget. I'll say, you know what, I want to say. You know, I think I'd like to spend, you know, $200 or $300 tonight. You know, I think that's where I want to keep my budget. But if the auction dictates it, yeah, I'd like to be able to go over that. I've walked into auctions thinking I'm going to spend $150 and walked out and spent $800 or $900. Yeah, it's rare. I mean, I didn't plan on. When I went for these record needles, I walked into that place thinking I was going to spend $200. I even told Jason, I said, I think I probably spend about $200 this weekend, and ended up spending $2,200.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. It's just always safe to have some reserves put aside, you know.
Yeah, and that reserve can be cash, it can be a credit card, it can be whatever you're going to do. Just understand that if you borrow the money to buy the stuff, that's a cost of your business. You got to figure that stuff out. You know, so I've got cash, I've got credit cards. You know, I keep, you know, money in PayPal, things like that. So you just never know where you're going to be. I mean, it's just nice to be able to have some options.
Sure. I mean, my favorite is the PayPal card because I got the 1.5%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I pay for almost everything with PayPal because, again, you get the percentage back, and then it also it separates my personal finances from my business finances. I don't pay for anything with eBay out of my checking account. It all goes through PayPal. So now, and I have some business credit cards that I use as well too. So, and I've never heard of Farm and Dairy. Is that online? Peddling Profit says, have you heard of the Farm and Dairy? Many weekly auctions on site and online. Covers Ohio, PA, and West Virginia. What is Farm and Dairy? Is that a magazine or something?
You know, just to touch base on Marvin's comment there, I knew about that auction well in advance. I think it was, 2 months? So I made sure I freed up.
Yeah, there was a lot of pre-planning for that auction. There was a lot of research, and I know Jason at that time was actually selling a lot of things that he'd kind of saved, and was trying to kind of push as much income into the business as possible.
Yeah, I did like a big push right before that, freed up a lot of, you know, money.
It was an interest. I mean, that was a crazy auction. I wish we'd been doing YouTube back then because it was nuts.
I know, really would have been an enjoyable video. But
there are videos out there. If you look for Mother of All Auctions, I think is what they called it. There's a couple of YouTube videos showing the preview. And Jason walked away with 25% of the auction at least. Maybe even a little bit more. It's hard to say.
To be honest, my only regret was not renting a big enough truck. Though I stopped bidding on a lot of stuff just because we were running out of room.
We had an SUV, Jason had his pickup truck, and we had a 9-foot U-Haul van, cargo van, and that 9-foot cargo van was filled to the top. There was stuff in the front seat of the cargo van. There was the SUV was completely loaded. The pickup truck had 6 totes in the back seat, stuff in the front seat, and the bed was full. It was insane.
Yeah, that's right. I had that pinball machine in the back too. That took out a lot of.
And we should have bought the other pinball machine. We just didn't. I mean, that was the sad thing. We literally stopped buying because we ran out of room. And we walked in there thinking, we probably maybe have plenty of room for everything we're going to get, because we didn't think we were going to get as much. And
I remember the last 2 rows I scaled back, and I I mean, I was scaling back before, but I was scaling back big time on those last two.
And those rows
Killing me.
so cheap. You could have bought the entire rows and been fine. I mean, it was, but we just had no space. And we started that auction at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I pulled into my hotel. And it was about a 45-minute drive from the auction house to my hotel. I pulled into my hotel at 5 o'clock the next morning.
Yep. I remember I was hitting a late night McDonald's run. I remember that.
I think we went to the same stop there on 95. Was it 95? I don't remember what road we were on.
Yeah, it was 95. Yeah.
It was a great, because not only were they had the video game auction going, they had an antique and collectibles auction. They had a clothing auction. They had a jewelry auction. They had a coin auction, all at the same time. And for the first, they didn't start the video game, the true video game stuff that Jason really wanted to get to, until about 3 o'clock. But we were buying in the other auctions as well. Oh, the box truck or trailer is definitely in the works. For me, I had a minivan. I didn't like it, and I just sold it. And I picked up a pickup truck, and my plan is to get a box trailer. And I don't buy that enough that I worry that much about it. But at least I'll have it to do when I do want to, because the trailers aren't very expensive, a couple $1,000.
I'm the opposite. See, I grew up most of my life driving a Suzuki Samurai, so I don't like big things.
Jason can't back up to save his life, so
my pickup truck is like the max. I have like a Honda Ridgeline, but which is the small bed, you know. But I mean, I'm okay with renting a truck for a day or something, even a box truck. I've done that plenty of times, but I just don't want to own one. And it's fine because a lot of times you're not buying in that much quantity. I mean, that only happens, maybe 2 times a year if I'm lucky. That volume that's, where you need something bigger than a van.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've only had to rent a trailer a couple of times. Before I had my van, I was renting a trailer maybe 3 times a year.
Wait, hold on. I'm not sure if MM is complimenting us or asking us to speed it up.
Yeah, I think he's trying to basically say we're done,
No, we're going to end in a minute, but thank you.
Yeah, I have to be up in 3.5 hours to get my son off to school, so.
Yeah, we said we weren't going to be on long. That's so funny.
And then I have to pick up my daughter up at the airport at 10 o'clock, so. So no going back to bed for me today.
Oh, great.
I
got to at least catch an episode of Star Trek before I go to bed, so.
Oh, yeah, I won't go straight to bed, but. We haven't done these late nights in a long time.
Well, I know, it's been fun.
Okay, yeah, you're about 2 hours from me. Peddling Profits is outside of Salem, Ohio. There's an online auction house up there, and I don't know if you are familiar with them. I think it's called Rust Belt Revival. They do a lot of stuff in Canton and Akron, and then they go all the way up into Cleveland. And really good prices. I don't shop from them too much because I got to add. It's a 4-hour round trip for me. As much as 6-hour round trip. I actually bought something from them not too long ago. Paid a really decent price for it, but it was a 6-hour round trip. So I don't really buy a whole lot from them, but I do watch their stuff because you get good deals. So if you haven't checked them out, it's actually really good.
So,
She's in Kentucky, right?
I think
she buys from that one guy. What's his name? The online auction guy, the YouTube auction guy.
Oh, yeah. I forget. Harry something, isn't it?
Isn't it S or something like that? North Georgia.
Oh, interesting.
I thought you were in. I thought because you weren't you bidding in that YouTube auction. Does that guy ship?
That auction ships. We had originally thought it was.
I would think the other one, the one that doesn't ship. Okay.
Yeah.
There's. I mean, and that's a great idea. I mean, there's people that do auctions on YouTube, and then it'll ship the stuff to you, and you can again, it's another great area to buy stuff from. And I don't think they get too high of a price. I mean, you know, what's Dwayne from Mothership Products does an online auction, and people seem to like that as well. And those are resellers buying from other resellers. You know, Jason and I, we buy stuff from each other. I buy stuff from Dusty all the time. You know, we buy from Dusty, we sell to Dusty. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with selling stuff to other people, and just be glad that they're going to make money on it. Because if they make money on it, they're going to come back and buy stuff from me again. You never regret. I mean, I've sold stuff to Jason I think would be worth a whole lot, and he gets $150 out of one little game cartridge, and I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, yeah. And it goes back and forth. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it goes. I mean, that's the thing. You can't worry about what everybody else gets out of their stuff. You know, but if you've got a bunch of stuff laying around you're never going to sell it to somebody else. Use that money to buy something that you are going to sell, or swap. I like swapping. It's more fun. Trying to figure out a value to put stuff on.
All right, everyone. Well,
I think we're going to kill it.
Thanks for being here, everyone. Little Marvin, Peddling Profits, Mother's Mustache.
Everybody. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah. Mr. Stash 51.
I don't know if we'll do this again like this, but we'll definitely do some more late night hangouts. It'll be either on Jason's channel or check out my channel as well, Nameless Picker. You can go to my channel just by clicking, you know, when I post something, click on the 3 dots next to my name, and you can go down and go to my channel and subscribe, please. We're trying to build this up and get back to where we used to be with our presence. So,
all right. Well,
all right. See you later.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. Oh, and don't forget to, I always forget this. Don't forget to like or dislike or I don't know, whatever.
Thumbs up or thumbs down. We don't care, but give us thumbs up. We appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Good night. Oh, Kids Deals More is still in there. I thought she fell asleep.
Hell, it's only 11 o'clock at her house right now. So
that's so funny. All right. Good night, everyone.
See ya.